How come even this one I was off on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is the CHamoru Land Trust Commission regular board meeting for May 28, 2026. Here at the CLTC Conference Room, Suite 223 of the ITC building in Tammany. Public comments may be made by emailing cltc.admin@cltc.guam.gov. To view the meeting virtually, please log on to the Gov Guam Live YouTube channel or via Google Meet. The meeting link is posted on the CLTC website. We will now take attendance of the commission. Please say present when your name is called. Chairman, Mr. Errol Grito.
Present.
Commissioner Fabrine Respicio.
Present.
Commissioner Jeremy Rojas.
Present.
Commissioner Annie Makepeace.
Present.
We also want to recognize the Acting Administrative Director of CLTC, Ms. Angela Camacho.
I'm present.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
It is 1:07 by my watch. I call this meeting to order.
Okay, can we please rise for the Inifresti, please? Inifresti, Ginimastaku, Gihinasoku, Imastakulum, Kikulasonu, Zanimasidu, Nadinasimahu, Ufrasin Maisasa, Adbai Patehi, Santabu Defendi, Ianengi, Ikatula, Ilinwahi, Iari, Hanamzanitamano.
Shaku and Azulin Azul Tata, at Sibu and Fitma, Kilo Ibibia, Zanibandirabu, Ibandam, Guahan.
Please remain standing. Itatamami gayo gilangin at Judas din a komisyon para itakomprendi desisyon para esti inedno ni CHamoru Land Trust. Na klaro para hita ta disidi para imanawag ta. Adjudam Christusana para imanagaf tautogoham. Mga muna entulo maganiti dyan itaw-taw niya. Si Diyos protehiyam, si Diyos bendisiyam, biba sana, biba siyoti, biba goham, sana masi. Thank you. That was the intro.
I'm sorry.
This one. Call to order, public participation. Mr. Sublime.
Call to order the publication. So we have the certification of quorum present. This meeting was published in Guam Pacific Daily News on May 21st, 2026, and May 26, 2026. It's also posted on Guam Public Notice website. And now we'll go ahead and give Chairman his remarks. Thank you. Also, please note, each speaker will have a maximum limit at 3 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Alpha Day. Today's a momentous day for CLTC, but before going on, I'd like to introduce our newest commissioner, Ms. Annie McPeace. Please stand up and be recognized. Annie will be taking the realm on the agricultural subcommittee, which I've tasked her to be in charge of. Thank you, Annie. Today's a momentous day for CLTC. We welcome our newest board member. Annie brings multiple experiences from the private sector, the community and personal endeavors. Her addition to the board brings added value to CLTC. She should assimilate seamlessly with our board and our industrious management and staff. Once more, welcome aboard, Annie. Moving on, I would like to comment on a particular subject in the context of the land trust. The terms unlawful lease and illegal lease are sometimes used interchangeably in casual discussions, but can carry distinct legal meanings depending on jurisdiction and specific facts. There is a general way to differentiate them. Unlawful leases refer to lease that violates a specific statutory requirement or procedural rule. The lease itself may be technically defective. Example, missing required disclosures, not meeting statutory form, or failing to obtain required approval or licenses. The contract may be voidable or unenforceable to the extent of the defect, but not necessarily void ab initio. Remedies can include reform, consent orders, or penalties for noncompliance with the statute. Illegal lease is typically used to describe a lease that contravenes a law or public policy, making the lease itself void or voidable from the inception. Common examples include leases that violate zoning, leasehold restrictions, rent control statutes, or leasing a property for prohibited uses. A court is more likely to treat an illegal lease as void ab initio, as if never valid, potentially with no enforceable rights for either party for the lease terms. Remedies may include eviction, forfeiture, or mandatory cessation of the lease. 1. If a lease violates statutory requirements unlawful, it may be prone to cure or reformation, depending on state law and the nature of the defect. The trust may still have viable enforcement options if the defect can be remedied. 2. If a lease violates law, illegal, enforcement can be blocked and the lease could be deemed unenforceable or void, potentially exposing the parties to avoidance of rent, damages, or penalty. In closing, the important caveats, the exact distinctions and consequences depend on the governing law and the language in the trust instrument, lease, and relevant statutes. Some jurisdictions use different terms in specific contexts. Example, unlawful as a statutory violation versus illegal as a violation of public policy or zoning. As a unified board, we can remediate these abnormalities and overcome barriers. This board, the management and staff, stand ready to overcome adversity. Viva CLT, Viva management and staff. Thank you. We go into the approval of minutes of March 19, 2026. Does the board have any questions concerning the approval of minutes for,
I have some corrections or things
Yes,
I would
ma'am.
like to add. On the meeting notes, under section C, GICC, number 3, granting GPA access for substation. I would like to include Exhibit A that was presented at this meeting, because when we granted the access for GPA, it was specific to a footprint as presented by GICC. So I think it's important that we know where exactly this access will be. Furthermore, under public comments, item 7, numbers E through, or letters E through J, if we could please address Mr. Thomas Hertzlet properly. I don't think this is the correct spelling of his last name, and we do not use his name consistently. Sometimes he's referred to as Mr. Thomas, and sometimes he's referred to Mr. Thomas Hertzler. I don't think he's Hertzler, I believe it's Hertzlet. If we can, and if we don't know the proper spelling, I think when he signed in, we can just kind of give him a ring, and just so that we can correct that for his proper dignity. Those are my only comments.
any other comments? We have a motion for correction. Can I get a second, please?
A second.
Motion has been made and second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Since there's no opposition to the corrections, the motion passes. Next on the agenda is the Administrative Director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My detailed appointment as interim administrative director, letter was submitted to CLT. The letter was dated February 19, 2026. Legislative confirmation on May 2026 for the appointment of Ms. Annie Makepeace to serve on the CHamoru Land Trust Commission. Working session with the Department of Agriculture on May 14, 2026. Discussion on CLTC forestry system plan parcel for conservation interest. Attending was Commissioner Rojas, the chairman, Chairman Garrido, myself, and a few of our staff. We met with Department of Agriculture, Forestry, and other divisions within the agency. That is a continuing conversation. We still have a lot of work ahead in regards to that matter. Status of hiring for the positions of Program Coordinator 2, Planner 2, and Land Abstractor has been concluded. I'm pleased to announce to the board. Notice of selection letters have been sent, and GG1s are in the process with DOA. We're still awaiting the recruitment packets for several of the positions, such as the Engineering Tech 1, Engineering Aid 1, Land Abstractor 3. In reference to residential and agriculture programs, meeting with Department of Land Management Director Joe Borja was held regarding land for the landless lots in Molesu to be transferred back to CLTC. This is a long-awaited item that we're now in meetings, and it's still ongoing, but I'm pleased to announce that that's moving forward. Another meeting will be scheduled once the land registration packets are prepared. An agriculture lease was awarded to Johnny C. Palomo on May 1st. That's a big feat for us because we actually signed the lease. It's been the first lease that we've signed in about 5 years. Present was the chairman, myself, and some of the land agents, as well as Mr. Palomo, his wife, his mother, and our notary. So congratulations to CLTC for that accomplishment. An update on commencement of lease award process. We are currently on December 2nd, 1995 at 2:14 p.m. In reference to commercial properties, lot 7161 R1 will be addressed in the June 18, 2026 board meeting. Specifically, the Guam Motorsports Association. The draft lease has been provided to the commissioners and GMA for their review. A list of items were considered to be added to the draft. This will be forwarded to legal counsel for review, so it's still ongoing, with minor changes, I think, for the most part. It's come together. We received a letter from Mr. Roland McGrowan of Collins Aerospace. They are requesting for a preliminary online meeting or an in-person meeting to discuss their interest in lot 440-4 and 440-5 Molesso, also known as the Trans World Pacific. A public hearing was held on May 23rd, 2026 at the Dededo Senior Center for designation of tract 100C, Block 6, Lot 1 and 3 in the municipality of Dededo for commercial use. There was one written testimony and no oral. In attendance was the chairman, myself, Dexter, Ebony, and Eileen from our office. And in your packet, you'll find my appointment letter and the letter from Roland McGrowan. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report for today.
Thank you, Acting Administrative Director, for your report.
Okay, we actually don't have those documents. If you can provide the
Oh, sure.
documents, and then
Yeah.
also provide a copy of your report, please, for our record. Thank you.
Are there any more comments or questions concerning the Administrative Director's report? If not, then we'll move on. Next order for business is the old business, lot 7055 Jigo.
Mr. Chairman, that was an error, and that should not have been in the agenda. So can we strike that?
I make a motion to remove old business item A, lot 7055 Jigo from the agenda.
I second.
Motion has been made and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Since there's no opposition, the ayes have it. Next item under old business is Guam International Country Club, Inc.
Mr. Chairman, I'll be presenting on behalf of Dexter, who handles our commercial leases. There were several requests made by Mr. Carlos Camacho representing the GICC. And I guess there are some things that in order for them to move forward in terms of financing and things, they're asking us to address. So in our packets, there's 4 letters, and we can go over them one by one. The first letter dated April 6th, lease term extension, confirmation and appraisal of optional term scenario. The request is to approve a defined 3-year lease extension, specifically from January 2055 through December 31st, 2058. And to maintain the existing option for an additional 2 years, if necessary, due to regulatory requirements, construction schedules, or power authority requirements. That would be found in Exhibit A, First Amendment Lease, Section 2.
Okay.
Scope of the request, GICC respectfully requests CLTC's approval to confirm and authorize documentation of a request to approve a 3-year lease extension through December 31, 2058, maintaining Section 2 regarding the additional 2-year regulatory construction for GPA requirements, and to authorize preparation for an appraisal evaluating net present value, net rent for both the approved extension and the optional term scenario described below. Did you want me to go through all of the letters
Well,
first?
one by one,
Yeah.
because they're all different
Yeah,
issues,
Yeah.
correct?
there's
Okay.
several, right?
So you have to make a motion before we start discussing, right?
Hmm?
You have to make a motion before we start discussing.
No, she can continue with the.
Okay, we don't have to make a motion yet, okay. So my first question is, with regard to the scope of requests, it says here that there's, an optional term scenario. Is that included in the letter? I don't see a term scenario. I mean,
Yes, actually,
I'm expecting
is.
to see some kind of like worksheet or something
Oh.
like that. Is it, or is it in a verbiage, cause I don't see.
What was attached to that letter was amendment to commercial lease agreements.
Okay, I have Exhibit A, which is what was recorded with Department of Land Management.
Right.
Correct. And then, exhibit B is, the law that,
Okay, the law. Okay,
established the agreement between.
so is the request for the additional 3 years, well, this time I see that we have Mr. Carlos Camacho and Mr. Jerry Tan online. Chairman, can I proceed to ask some questions to clarify, or do I need to make a motion? Sorry.
Just ask.
Okay, can I address Mr. Camacho and Mr. Jerry Tan, whoever can answer? With regard to your request, number one, with regard to the 3-year lease extension, that is a 3-year lease extension. You're asking that lease extension under the Public Law 17638, is that correct? That's the first question, and what is the purpose of this 3-year lease extension?
Okay, Commissioner Fabree, thank you. I may ask you to repeat the first question, but I think I heard the second question.
The
So the
first,
reason we're asking for this, as we talked on previous board meetings, when we went through the exercise, we identified that due to our delay and stuff on the 37th Guam legislature, how the bill was delayed for over 2 years, we lost several years going through that process. And then, when we finally made it to the 38, we lost so much, because by the time we got that new sign, they started January 2025, I think, or 26, their first term, and we didn't get our lease signed until December 2025, right? So that's another year. So that's 2 + 1 is 3. We're not asking for this for free. We will pay for this additional term. We just want to be compliant with our mandate with GPA on the 30-year timeline. Now, if you recall, on the original law, there was a 30 years plus a 2-year for construction extension. So that's 30 + 2. But we lost 3 on the 30, right? That's why we're asking for the 3. I had submitted an amendment to this letter to give a historical perspective on how we calculated it, but since it's not in the letter there, hopefully you guys can ask for it later as part of the record, which I submitted also to show the year to year from 2014 to December 2025, and what's left on the year, and what we're asking for to comply with the GPA 30-year, plus these permitting timeline, getting into the CCU and all that kind of stuff, right? It's all there, black and white. And again, we're not asking for it for free. We just had a setback in the 3.5 years we've been working on this. And it was our little fault, because the law that went in expired in January 2055. So fortunately, what I attached to this bill, to this letter, is bill number 17638, that granted all government agencies that has leases to provide up to 15-year lease. So in my letter, we're asking for 3 of that 15 years that's authorized, right? And there was an option that in the event, because that law's there, we're asking in the event that you guys are gonna put the appraisal out, we wanna find out what the extra 10 years would be if you guys can get it appraised since you're appraising this, and we can either opt in or opt out to pay for that value if we wanted to. But the law 17638 is what we're leaning onto, and if you have any question based on that, because I know there was a lot of question based on the written sections of that law, and I can provide some answers if there's any clarity needed. So we are taking the 3 years from that law that authorizes all government and Guam agency to give up to 15 years, right? And then that's what we're using to leverage this request.
Okay, so I just want to be clear. You're asking for the additional 3 years because what you're saying is when the law was first written and introduced into the legislature requesting this change of lease, you lost 3 years from that time that it was initially introduced to the time that the lease was signed. Is that correct?
That's
Okay.
correct.
So from that 3 years, and then you're using the bill 17638 to cover that, to give us the authorization to cover those additional 3 years under this law.
That's correct. But before we step into that, I want to thank this Board of Commission. On March Commission hearing, you guys already granted my extension, right? Up to 30 years. But the verbiage that was used, because I couldn't discuss, thank you for allowing us to discuss here. The verbiage that was used was that once you receive the NTP from Department of Public Works, which they didn't have no time frame, it says once you receive. And as we all know, we went through many acts of God that went through, like Typhoon Mawar, so there was a huge delay. And you guys know the permitting process, and DPW could take 9, 10, 12, 15. You heard that from different industry, right? So it didn't have a timeline, it just says once you receive. So why I wanted to clarify, so that way the appraisers that you guys choose will know that there's a fixed number, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. So when you get it appraised, it's appraised accurately, not guessing, okay, on that very broad statement up to the NTP DPW. Does that mean 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? But we appreciate the approval, but I just wanted to make it more into accuracy so that the appraiser will not come back and say, I don't understand, it's too fluid, and then we have to come back again to another board meeting several months again to make correction. So this is why I'm asking for a timeline and a number that will be identified, and when the appraiser appraises it, then it's accurate on the years we're asking for. I hope that makes sense.
So I just want to clarify, since you brought it up. On our last meeting, March 19, we did pass the extension of the 30 years upon the issuance of the NTP. But you also brought up kind of like acts of God and all these other factors that even if you get the NTP, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to start your operations right away because there's a lot of other fluid factors. So you're saying that from that time, it's kind of up in the air as to when your operations can start. So my, I guess, point to you is, since you're coming to the board and requesting this additional 3 years under this specific law, 17638, I don't expect you to come back to the board if something should happen once, the NTP is approved and you proceed. Should there be some, God forbid, acts of God or something happens with the permitting, I don't expect you to come back and ask for an additional 5 years because all these other things have happened. So I want to make that clear. Under this request, that's what we're approving. We're approving the additional 3 years and that's it.
From the March meeting, who knew that Typhoon Sulaco potentially was gonna come to Guam and set back as we described the acts of God, right? And who knew right after that, we had 3 type of tropical storms that was within our region again that luckily it didn't hit us. But that's what I mean, we're in a very vulnerable, we're a very resilient community, we will go through that. But those are the ones that can sit back a lot of stuff. That's why I would rather while I appreciate the language you guys put on the last March, that up to the NTP, very fluid, but I just wanted to make it very clear for the appraiser, because we gotta make these appraisal values as accurate as possible so we can fulfill our commitment based on the law to pay you guys, as per one of the other milestones in the law, that once we sign a PPA, we will provide the 10% based on the value. But again, since I talked about that and the appraisal has not been done yet, the law already gave a floor rate of 9.5 million, right? Since you guys didn't do the appraisal yet. So if we do have the PPA signed, my client is willing to commit based on the floor rate, the 950,000, as per the law, once the PPA is signed. And then once the other appraisal is done for the 3 years, or the potential option of the 10 as I've written, because the law allows it, and we opt in to stay at the 3, we'll pay the additional 3, or we opt in to say, oh, the 10 looks pretty financially reasonable for us, then it's more revenues for you guys. So at that time, the appraisal should be done, and then that will be the delta after the floor rate.
Okay, so you're
If
not
that makes
opting in
sense.
for 3, it's opting into 2, and we're granting a 3-year extension. That's what this request is. It's opting
That's
into
correct.
2, okay. So just as you've said, who knew that at the time that the original bill was introduced in the legislature, that it would take 3 years to the actual signing of the lease document, correct? So that's my point
That's
to
correct.
you. I want to make sure that you guys have done your projection, and all you need is that additional 3 years, because I would hate for you to come back to the board and say, well, oh, who knew that we were gonna have 3 typhoons, et cetera. All of those things are fluid, we don't know. So, but I just wanna be able to lock this in so that we can move forward, and start receiving our rent payments as promised to us for the beneficiaries of this board. So I wanna.
I appreciate it, and again, other than the fluid data that you guys approved us in March, we want to put an accurate number so the appraisal can move forward and close that loop.
So the
of
appraisal is through
and,
December
hopefully
31st,
no breaking news.
2058. So the appraisal is through December 31st, 2058, that's your request.
So the 3 years
Yeah.
is from whatever, from 2055, right? Whatever year, we're gonna add 3 years to that, yeah. Then you still got the 2 years under section 2 of the law,
Right,
right? So it's
Option.
3 years plus the 2 years that's already authorized by the law.
okay. That's it for me.
Do we have any other questions? Carlos, do you have any other questions for the board?
No, again, I wanted to thank them on March 19, 2026. They provided the opportunity for the NTP up to the NTP from DPW, and then from there, the 30-year will count. But I appreciate that thought. In that board meeting, we were only able to discuss based on when you guys say you can discuss, because while you guys are debating or stuff, I cannot comment. So, I am satisfied if you guys can preserve this, and we can move on to the next 2 letters.
Okay, just to reiterate what, the sentiments of Commissioner Respicio, you guys can say with confidence that if we do an extension for the 3 years, that it'll be sufficient for you? That
Yeah, we calculated that, yes, sir, yes.
Carlos, can I just clarify, because the way I understand, commissioners, good afternoon, Jerry Tang, good to see everybody again. Colin, what's that, just to clarify, you mentioned the 3 years taking us to 2058, but then you also said that under the public law 5861, which is the bill 13538, there is also a built-in 2 years so you're looking at potentially 2060? Is that where you're coming from?
That's correct. It's the 3 years from the 255 to 258, plus the 2 years that's already part of the law would bring it up to 2060. That's correct. Thank you for the clarification.
Yes, commissioners, what I was thinking, since the appraisal has not been completed yet, or ordered, I'm not sure, but what's that, to give the commission, to give the Chamorro Land Trust as much flexibility as possible, I don't know the appraiser can do a valuation of net present value up to the end of 2058, 2059, 2060. I think, you know, the appraiser might be able to do that. So, what is the net present value of the leasehold? What's that, if it ended on 2058, if it ended on 2059, you know, on and on. And that way, I think that, it might give, there might be some, you know, evaluations that that might be advantageous to the land trust. That's and then of course I just want to iterate what's that we are going to pay there's a floor. What's that? Public Law 36.1 set a floor minimum of what that net present value cannot be under. So what's that? You know, I understand, you know, the importance of continuing the funding. So what's that? In addition to paying the monthly rent, we're also going to commit to pay the $950,000 once the power purchase agreement is signed, even before the appraisal is done, and then whatever valuation that is ultimately determined by the appraisal, what's that? Then we will pay that too.
That's correct, Jerry. I appreciate the clarity.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to, I guess, in light of all of our discussions, I'd like to make a motion to approve the defined 3-year extension lease, specifically from January 2055 through December 31st, 2058, and maintain the existing option for an additional 2 years, if necessary due to regulatory requirements, construction schedules, or Guam Power Authority requirements.
So I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Do we have any more discussion needed for this issue?
The only thing I would like to add is that on the meeting notes that we add in as stated by Mr. Camacho, that he provided an optional term scenario, which is not attached to our packet today, that is added.
So noted. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Since there's no opposition to the motion passes.
Mr. Chair, I'd also like to make a motion to authorize the preparation of an appraised net present value rent for both the approved extension and the optional term scenario described above, to give the CLTC the flexibility through 2015 with the option of 2059 and 2060 as part of the appraisal. So at that time when we come to those years, the CLTC can determine whether or not they want to exercise that option based on those figures as presented in the appraisal.
Okay, a motion has been made. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Motion is made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Since there's no opposition to the motion passes. Thank you, Commissioners.
Could I,
Go ahead.
the subject of the appraisal has come up, and I know, I don't know if it's okay if we discuss this, but I know the law required that an MAI appraiser, other than the one that had originally done the appraisal, would be identified to conduct an appraisal. Do we know where we're at with an appraisal right now?
So from my understanding, GICC has already had one appraisal done, and that's with Cornerstone. And it's also my understanding that there's only one other appraiser that can do this type of appraisal, which I can't remember their name.
Is it Milo?
I believe it's Milo,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, and then the public law also, I guess, specified that the lessee would pay for it.
The lessee.
Yes.
Yeah, so, I just, a lot of questions that are popping up in my mind. And so, I know when we had discussed in the past, and this was when Acting Director Cruz was here, there was the issue of a vendor number and other things. But being that the lessee is paying for it and it's not government funds, is that something that the commission could just vote on to say that we would use Milo and that, you know, they would pay for it, or does it still need to go to the government procurement process?
I think you can order us to
I
have
think
the
that was
appraisal
actually
done.
addressed at the prior meeting, if the secretary can go back, because we already authorized at that time acting director Cruz to proceed with the engagement of services.
Okay.
Yeah, so if we can look back to our meeting notes, because we already approved that and we already gave that authorization. So I think that's the reason why Commissioner Rojas is following up, where are we with that?
Yes.
Have we engaged, have we, you know,
So I think it's just a letter from us to GICC to proceed with the second appraisal.
okay,
Yeah, I guess the reason why is because, I mean, we're talking about, you know, the lease extension, the additional years that we're gonna appraise and, you know, but, you know, now that we're at this point, I hope that we could move that forward so we can, I guess, keep the process going and get to a point where we can get the funds and actually do something with the properties.
Okay.
Any comments to that, Mr. Camacho?
No, again, there used to be 3 MAI appraisals, just for the record. One was Micronesian Appraisal. Unfortunately, the MAI had retired, and the principal of Micronesian, rest his soul, Vance, you guys know the president, he passed away maybe a month or 2 months ago. So they're reorganizing their MAI, and they told us in the industry that it'll take them about 8 months to get their MAI back certification. So the only other 2 left, for the record, was Cornerstone Evaluation, which is Cisca. That's the company we use to evaluate what we were presenting this to the legislature. So I don't know if we can use that because it's a conflict of interest, and this is why the only left vendor would be Milo. That is the only other MAI appraiser. So, but that's not my call. That is the board's call to choose Cisca, but I'm just disclosing that they're the one that did our valuation, and I don't want to, I want to make sure it's fully transparent that I'm disclosing that, so that way there's no conflict of interest of her using data that she helped us gather when we presented this proposal to the COTC.
I believe in our last action, we had specified that it wouldn't be the same appraiser that was used previously, so. I think my.
That's it, yeah, that's fine. I just want to make sure that it's reiterated and clear again.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any further discussion?
We'll prepare the letter.
Thank you.
Sure. So the next item, if I may proceed. Are you ready? Okay. Another letter came in on April 6th, just addressed to our chairman, regarding the lease framework confirmation to support project structure, ITC compliance and financing. So the GICC, to enable financing and to maintain project schedule, respectfully requests CLTC's formal confirmation that the lease authorizes the development, construction, installation, ownership, operation, maintenance, repair, replacement, and financing of renewable energy improvements and related infrastructure. Also, the lease permits the implementation of customary tax equity and project financing structures required to comply with investment tax credits, regulations, and other requirements, including the formation and use of affiliated and special purpose entities. Such structures may require that ownership of the renewable energy improvements and related project assets be held in whole or in part by one or more project entities for tax and financing purposes, including the participation by tax equity investors. Any such ownership interests are strictly limited to the renewable energy improvements and project assets only, and do not extend to the land or any leasehold interest in the premises. All project entities and investors shall have contractual rights only and shall not require any leasehold, tenancy, or other possessory interests in the premises. GICC shall retain continuous and exclusive legal possession, control, and responsibility for the leased premise at all times. Request for board action. GICC respectfully requests that the board confirm that the lease, including section 1, addition of permit use, authorizes the activities described herein, and acknowledge that such activities are fully consistent with the lease and do not constitute any transfer or conveyance of leasehold interest.
Mr. Chair, can I address Mr. Camacho and Mr. Tan directly with regard to the request?
We're still in the subject, so yes,
Okay.
you may.
Mr. Camacho and Mr. Tan, whoever can answer this. My question with regard to your letter is with regard to the board confirmation requested. This language, is very detailed. So this language, does it appear in the First Amendment to the commercial lease agreement? Yes or no?
Yeah,
Yes
thank
or
you,
no?
Commissioner Respicio. I wanted to just give a little history.
I just
We
wanna
had a
know,
work
I just
session-
wanna
we had a
know
work
yes or no,
session.
is
Yeah,
it included, is it included? Is it included
Yes,
already?
it is.
It
It
is?
is part of,
Okay.
it is part of the lease amendment, yes.
Okay, so it's already part of the lease amendment, okay, but you're just spelling it out for educational purposes and to make it clear. So,
Yeah,
okay, so then with regard to the consistency of the lease, you say here, and I wanna make it clear, that the request that you have does not alter the lease in any way or in any fashion. Is that correct? Yes or no?
that's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. The
Okay.
lease of GICC
Okay, so
is
then,
still responsible
okay,
with to.
so that's just a yes or
CLTC.
no, yes or no? Okay, thank you.
Okay,
So
I'm sorry,
then
yes.
your request for the board action is just to confirm the lease, including section 1. Section 1 of what? Of what you've regurgitated here, or section 1 of what's in the lease?
If you look at that
Section
letter, I attached the amended lease that was signed on
Okay.
December 2025.
Yes, I
And
have it.
we highlighted the section that clarified that under section 48 of the IRS code and any other financing underwriting, that both the lessor and the lessee will work together to make sure that we are in full support to make sure this works. That's why we wrote this letter, just so we can remind, and if you look at that section, that section was done, again, I was going to repeat, during the work session we had, when we incorporated that paragraph in the lease, when we had a work session with the whole commission and your attorney and everybody, and that was incorporated in the lease, and this is why we're just disclosing this. And what's not there, what you guys don't have, I emailed that into the commission, from our tax credit investor, how the structure is gonna happen to them. And I also emailed an Ernest and Young, opinion, that because we're using tax credit, that only, US citizen and, US corporations can participate with the tax credit investment program for the solar. But we got that for the record, so we can show you, because those two vehicles is the one that's gonna restructure the partnership or ownership under the umbrella of, GICC.
Okay,
But
okay, so,
GICC
Mr.
still
Camacho,
is
you're,
responsible as per the lease, and still responsible for everything from A to Z.
okay, so Mr. Camacho, you're providing the supporting documents on Ernest and Young to support section 1 of the lease, is that correct?
That's
You're-
correct.
Yeah, so you're provided this to support what has already been signed and written and has been filed at the Department of Land Management, is that correct?
What's filed on that again? please?
Yeah. The lease, so what
The
I'm
lease is
asking
recorded.
you is, these
Oh, the
documents that
lease,
you're
yeah,
saying,
the lease that was signed by the Attorney General and Governor, yes, that one,
okay,
that
so these
was filed,
documents are support,
Yeah,
you're using this to
I
support.
think I could, yes, Commissioner Respicio, the answer is yes. The recorded lease, the recorded amended lease, provides, that the parties will comply with, section 48 of the Internal Revenue Code.
Okay, And this is the documentation to support that, okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to really break it down to make it simple, for our understanding and to have it in record, very simple and plainly. So there's no
Yeah.
confusion in the future, okay, or coming down. So basically, all you're asking us to do is reiterate that and reaffirm that section 1 of the lease is what we want? I mean, it's already there, I don't understand the nature of the request. It's already
Well, the
there,
reason-
it's in the
reason we're
lease, so
disclosing
what do
that
you want
is
from us? Why are you
when our-
asking us
when our
to
ownership structure is
reiterate and
changed,
say, yeah, we
can
support
affect-
it, we support it
we
because
want to
it's
make
been
our
filed?
compliance.
But, Collins,
I don't get
what's
it.
that? I think what it is the amended lease says compliance with section 48 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986.
Correct.
And that's a very broad statement that we have to be in compliance with that, and we'll take steps to be in compliance with that. And I think Collins's letter breaks it down a little bit more, and those things that are contained in those letters is what needs to be done to be in compliance with section 48.
I think what Commissioner Respicio is trying to get at is specifically why this action is needed. If you could explain that to us.
Why is it necessary when we already asked you to comply? We already know
Right.
that it's broad. You signed it, the governor signed it, we signed it, it's filed at the Department of Land Management. I feel like, why are you asking us to do an extra step? What more do you need than the actual
No,
lease agreement?
we want to be transparent,
Okay.
and when our ownership structure changes because of the tax credit requirement, that's why I submitted the tax credit letter and the Ernest & Young opinion, which you guys don't have, but later, hopefully, the management can give you guys a copy, because I provided that to the management, and then from there, you'll see why we're doing this. Why, under the code, they broke down the different section of the code, and that's what we're complying with. And when we restructure, the umbrella is still GICC, but the restructuring the bottom from our investor tax credit, that is gonna own 99% of it during the compliance period, and the operator of the stuff will own the 1% during the compliance period. But that's internal in ourselves, like I said, well, our main umbrella lease of GICC stays the same. We pay what we sign, and that's where we at.
So shouldn't this just be a letter to the commission or the board, to CLTC, saying that we are complying with our lease under section 1, under the section 48 of the IRC Code of 1986, and this is what we're doing? Shouldn't that be what it is? Because that's what I see what it is. I see that you're telling me, we are complying under section 1, and this is what we're doing. Here are the documents to show that this is what we're doing. Is that correct?
Yeah,
That's how I'm reading
that's
this.
correct.
Okay.
That's correct, but I'm glad we're doing this discussion, so we can explain it, that's why we're explaining it. And then, if you want a subsequent later, and how we restructured, the key players, we can do that also.
Okay, if the question arises, but the question, we're not asking that. We're not asking that. So, you're coming before the board, you're giving us this letter. I'm asking, what action do you expect from us? I don't see the action you expect from us. I see what you're doing is providing us information to let us know, hey guys, we're good, stewards, we're good, lessees. We're continuing to abide by the terms of the lease. Here's some
Right.
information, thank you. That's what I see.
Do-
I don't know what action you expect from us.
Right. Commissioner Respicio, I think I completely understand where you're coming from. I think I'll have to discuss that with Carlos a little bit, because, I think the intention of that letter really was really disclosure. What's
Okay.
that,
Thank you.
and just so that, periodically, we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Okay.
So what's that, I'm not really certain, either that there's any particular thing, other than that, the meetings reflect that we make this, that we make this, letter, disclosure, and, to get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, and just an acknowledgement of the disclosure. So basically what you want from us is an acknowledgement that, thank you very much, we received your letter, we received your disclosures, and this will come to file. That's what I
so,
see.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
So-
because, yeah.
In not taking action, we won't be holding back anything on your side. Progress will still be
Yeah.
able to move forward if we don't take any board act or commission action right now.
Right, I think just that acknowledgement is sufficient. I mean, I don't, I think that's sufficient. What's that, nothing really changes between the relationship between GICC there's no substantive change between the relationship between GICC and the Deferral Land Trust. GICC will remain the tenant. What's that? And GICC will remain the responsible party to comply with all the lease terms.
So, just to make double sure, if we do not take any action, it won't delay anything on your part with regard to your regulators, with regard to any other entity that you need to deal with?
I don't think so, but at least the investors will know that you guys know that they are gonna play a role as a partner, as we disclose in my letter that you don't have yet, but that's okay, you
Right.
guys acknowledge it, that's good enough.
Okay, so
Right.
go ahead, sorry, Mr. Tan. So if we,
Oh.
if our chairman, if we make a motion today and we say, okay, yes, we received your letter, we acknowledge all of the supplements, we acknowledge that you are in compliance, would this be sufficient for you, Mr. Tan and Mr. Mr. Camacho, to support your letter, would that be sufficient?
Yeah, because
Okay.
they, at least our investors and everybody that's becoming a partner will feel comfortable that you guys understand our ramification based on the tax credit code and the opinion from Ernst & Young.
What ramifications? Now you're making me,
I think.
Our
There's no
Ernst & Young opinion, it says
I don't see
your
any
structure gonna
ramification
be
here.
structured this way. That's what I submitted to you guys.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's sufficient, and if, if we have any particular, if we have any particular requests, from our tax credit folks, for example, if they have any specific requests, then, we'll bring it up, but I think at this moment, really, we are just, disclosing, and I think, just acknowledgement that, hey, we received your disclosure, and we see no problem with it, I think that's fine.
okay. So I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chairman. I would like to make a motion that we acknowledge the letter of April 6th from Mr. Carlos Camacho with regard to the lease framework confirmation to support project structure, ITC compliance and financing. We also acknowledge all of the supporting documents as submitted, and that you can, write a letter or from the commission, from this board, that supports and acknowledge this letter and all the documents that have been submitted.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to table, it was second. We go for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Is there any more comments before we move forward? There being no,
I was just gonna say, in addition to responding to my two fellow commissioners, and I do agree with Commissioner Rojas, by you just accepting, thank you for being transparent, thank you for, being open, by accepting this, because we just talked previously about an extension. So that's why Commissioner Rojas says, by just accepting your acknowledgement and your transparency, that there will be no further extensions.
Commissioner Makepeace, I appreciate it, thank you. That's what we're doing, because we just wanna be transparent, that's all.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
your transparency, thank you.
motion passes.
Mr. Chair, there's another letter dated April 6, addressed to you from Mr. Carlos Camacho. A request for formal board confirmation binding the clubhouse and surrounding 5 acres. This is in reference to now CLTC has no interest, right, in the clubhouse, so we are
Right.
turning it over to GICC so that they can pay rent on it. I'll go through the request for binding confirmation. The board resolution shall constitute a binding and enforceable action of the CLTC board as follows. Exclusive use and control of the clubhouse and surrounding 5 acres shall remain under the exclusive use, possession, and control of GICC. No CLTC rights or use to, or use or occupy. CLTC shall have no present or future rights to use, occupy, reserve, or control the clubhouse for the duration, clubhouse area for the duration of the lease. No separate reservations or carve out The clubhouse area shall not be treated as a separate reserved area and shall remain under the GICC's operational control as part of the leased premises. GICC's responsibility. GICC shall remain solely responsible for all operations, maintenance, liabilities, and obligations associated with the clubhouse area. Duration of confirmation. The foregoing shall apply for the full remaining term of the lease, including any extensions thereof, and shall be binding upon CLTC and GICC and their respective successors and permitted assigns unless otherwise mutually agreed in writing by both parties. No new lease or transfer. This confirmation is intended solely to clarify and confirm the existing lease relationship and does not constitute a new lease, assignment, sublease, transfer, or conveyance of any interest in the property. I'll go to the request for board action. For the avoidance of doubt, GICC respectfully requests that such confirmation be documented in a manner that constitutes a binding and enforceable action of CLTC board and may be relied upon by third parties, including investors and lenders. Accordingly, GICC respectfully requests that CLTC approves and adopts a board resolution confirming the above. GICC appreciates the Commission's continued support.
Am I correct that this just kind of puts what we had agreed upon in the past into resolution form rather than in the form of a letter?
Correct.
If I
Mr.
may
Camacho, yeah.
Address Mr. Camacho. So, I'm assuming that a resolution is needed for, or could you explain why a resolution is needed, I guess? I wanted to.
Yeah, because we are providing our tax credit investment and financing. They want a resolution format. If you notice, I attached the April 24th letter from Chairman Garrido concurring the board's voting of transferring the clubhouse and the 5 acres to JCC, and that's why that's going to be included in the appraisal. But they needed it in a resolution format, and they figured that route would be more solidified where our investors and lenders feel more comfortable that nothing will happen to that and removed from a letter. So a resolution format is what we're asking for. It's already been approved, but we're just asking for a resolution format.
Okay, so the resolution is for compliance.
Yes, sir.
Being that there's no real change, I'll make a motion to create a board resolution encompassing items 1 through 6 in Mr. Camacho's letter.
I second.
A motion has been made and second. We take this motion in for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
I just have one comment. I don't know if it requires an amendment to the motion, but to further support Mr. Camacho and Mr. Tan's request, I would like to include Exhibit B as part of the resolution so that the investors can know and understand that this action has been taken, way before the resolution was actually signed and formulated.
I'm not sure we can do an amendment at this point, but
So-
we can.
Because, we didn't have a discussion,
yeah,
so that's part of my
yeah,
discussion.
Yeah,
Okay,
after the vote, then we have the discussion.
okay. But you're asking to approve it.
Yes, all those in favor say aye.
So if we approve, then we can amend after,
Can I
is that what
still
you're saying?
amend? That's my question.
Well, I prefer that we don't approve it and we just amend, go back
Okay.
and amend it.
So we don't.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye. All opposed say nay.
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 Since there's overwhelming disregard for the motion, we open the floor for further discussion.
Yeah. So, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make amended motion to for the board to execute a resolution encompassing items 1 through 6 and including Exhibit B as an attachment to the resolution.
Motion has been made, can I get a second, please?
A second.
Motion has been made and second, let's go for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Since there no opposition, the motion carries. Open for discussion. Okay, we go on to the next item.
One more item for GICC.
Okay.
Request for clarification.
Oh, wait a minute, is that, do we have that document?
This is on April 29, 2026.
Okay, I don't have another letter
It should be with the ones they gave us. In that stack.
on this stack.
It's just one for clarification.
April 29.
It was with the UI one.
April 15. Okay. Okay, go ahead, proceed, thank you.
Yes, second, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, do you have the letter? April 29?
Not April
Can you
29.
provide them to Mr. Chairman? Yes. Thank you. So this is a request from GICC for clarification and adoption of GPA utility easement exhibit prior to approval of the March 19, 2026 board minutes. We received this letter on April 29th. GICC respectfully requests that the commission formally adopt Exhibit A submitted by GICC on the same date. Specifically, they request that the approved easement reservation reflects the range illustrated on the utility easement map prepared by a licensed surveyor for approximately 0.68 acres to 1 acre, equivalent to 2,751.86 to 4,046.86 square meters.
So, Mr. Chair, at the beginning of the meeting, when we discussed the approval of minutes for March 19, my first request is that we include Exhibit A into the meeting notes. Would that be sufficient? Can I address Mr. Camacho and Mr. Tan?
Yes.
Would that be
Mr. Torres.
sufficient, Mr. Camacho and Mr. Tan, and Ms.
Yeah,
Angela Camacho, is that
Commissioner
sufficient, or
Respicio, I
do we need to do
appreciate
something
when,
here?
before you guys adopted the minutes, you've already recorrected it to adopt the Exhibit A as described by the acting director. So I don't think you guys need to, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think you need to, and Jerry can chime in. You can act, you don't need to act on this because you've already voted and adopted the minutes, amending that section of the minutes to reflect Exhibit A.
So that
Like,
initial,
I think
that
it-
initial action.
That's okay with us, right there.
Yeah, that action takes care of this request, is that right, Mr.
Yeah.
Tan and Mr. Camacho? I just wanna make sure that this what we've already done satisfies this request.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
Director Camacho, you concur with that?
You concur with that?
Yes.
Okay.
So we don't have to do any action on this April 29
Just
letter?
acknowledge the
So
letter,
She
yes.
addressed
the
it.
meeting minutes will be updated to reflect the Exhibit A showing the current 4,046
Correct.
square meters? Okay.
So is that your motion? Is that a motion?
No, it was
or
already
open?
done during the meeting.
Yes,
when
that's
we
what-
approved
that's
Yeah,
it.
so our motion to
So
accept
you were
the,
just
Yeah, to just-
reiterating?
right, I was just making sure that, yeah,
That was
that,
just to address the letter, but.
Right.
yeah, to address the-
okay.
Mr. Chair, that's all the requests that I
Real
have.
quick,
from-
can I
sorry.
comment based on this, which is already adopted in the minutes? But you guys already done all mine, so you can move forward with the rest of the community there. I was told since March that once a minutes is adopted, a resolution and the utility easement will be signed after that. That's why we waited for March, April, then Socalo came, and now it's May, and then May got, again, technically delayed a little bit to May 28th. So can I ask the board and the chairman that now that the minute's been adopted, can we move forward with the resolution and the utility easement so we can dot the I, cross the T, so we can provide that to GPA as soon as possible.
There was a draft resolution, I don't know if the board members saw that already?
I haven't.
You haven't seen the
Yeah.
draft?
I don't think so. So basically, he's just saying, let's move forward with the draft resolution because we would approve the minutes. Is
So-
that the request?
So there's resolution, 2026-04, amendment to the Guam International Country Club commercial lease, lot 10122-12. And then I can just quickly go over, it's not a very long
So
document.
at this meeting, can we approve that so that we can,
I think that's the next step.
okay.
I think
let's do
that's the
that.
next step.
Can you just provide a copy quickly
Sure.
so that we can follow along? Thank you.
And again, since March 19, 2026, it's been approved, and 3 months later, it's been ratified by adopting the minutes. And what I was told by management is you need to adopt the minutes first before any action or any resolution or utility easement can move forward. So all we're asking is full cooperation if we can get that through, so we don't lose any more timeline.
So being that we've already adopted, it's just a matter of moving forward, okay?
Just to close it, let's just read
Close
the
it, right,
resolution
right.
and approve the resolution, okay.
Okay, so I'll just read the resolution. Whereas the CHamoru Land Trust Commission, in accordance with Chapter 75A, Title 21, Guam Code Annotated Section 75122, is authorized to lease commercial leases and licenses. Whereas Public Law 38-61 amended the CHamoru Land Trust lease agreement with the Guam International Country Club Incorporated. Whereas on March 19, 2026, the CLTC Board of Commissioners, at their regularly scheduled meeting, Tumaning Guam, through a motion and passed unanimously, approved to extend the period to commence upon the issuance of the notice to proceed. I think we're going to have to make this specific, correct, as to what was decided today.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're going to reflect what was worded today, so it's not gonna be the notice to proceed anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be NCP.
Okay. Whereas on March 19, 2026, CLTC Board of Commissioners, at their regularly scheduled meeting, through a motion and passed unanimously approved the request from GICC to allow GPA to access to the 3,000 plus square meters for the substation with the provision. Now therefore be it resolved, the CHamoru Land Trust Commission Board of Commissioners authorize the extension of the GICC commercial lease to commence upon the, we're gonna put that, again, verbiage on the 3 and 2 years.
Yeah.
The extension will be for the number of years,
Yeah.
we're gonna, all of that.
Right.
and then on the 3,000 plus square meters, I think we should include what the Exhibit A actually specifically, spells out.
I think we'll leave in,
Okay.
Okay,
We just brush it up.
okay,
Okay.
we'll clean it up.
Yeah. And then also on whereas, second, and LA
Yeah,
and D.
just a spelling correction.
Yeah,
Typo.
land.
Right, right.
Okay,
Okay.
So do we need to make a motion to? or-
Well, she needs to brush it up. So we
Right,
can
okay.
actually
but
adopt
could
it.
we not
Based
say
on
that,
Corrections?
based on the corrections discussed in today's meeting?
Okay.
Or do we need to approve these meeting minutes?
Why don't we make the corrections now?
Make the corrections now?
Yeah, because it's just a couple of things that we have to change in here, and you have it in a Word format, right?
Well, she's saying to, when we make our motion to say the corrections as per this meeting, so that we can move on and we don't have to come back to this.
Okay, that's fine.
That's the
That's fine.
recommendation by acting director.
That's fine. Corrections based on this meeting.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution based on corrections recommended in this current meeting.
I have a motion on the floor. Can I get a second, please?
I second.
I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Since there no opposition to the motion carries. Any further discussion on this matter? If none, we move on to the next item.
If I may, Mr. Chairperson, with regard to the agenda, can we please go in order as to the constituents that are represented here? As an example, if Ms. Bernice Tudela is not present, Nelson is not present, we can move to Mr.
She's right there.
She is, okay. So I just want to say that if we can move forward in an order where we just address the constituents that are present, and those that are not, we can leave for the end. We can skip them and leave for the, table it or leave for the end of the, push it back to the end of the meeting.
Is Pedro Blas here? Okay, so we have both constituents in.
And then also with regard to new business, et cetera, I'm talking about the entire agenda as a
Moving
whole.
forward, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we'll skip those that aren't here. I just want to make it clear.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, we have Land Agent Supervisor Don E. presenting constituent matters.
This is not present.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, business, I'm sorry.
business, yes.
Okay. We have Land Agent 3D, Jessica D. Okay, so,
I apologize before you guys move forward. If we're done, can we leave the Zoom? Or do you need us still?
I personally don't see a need for you to continue on Zoom. We've gone through your issues. And
Okay.
we've already made a decision based on what was discussed today. So, yes, you're excused.
Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners, thank you, and Mrs. Camacho, thank you. So, I will talk to you guys later again. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
as well.
Camacho. Thank you, Mr. Camacho. Thank you, Mr.
Mr.
Tan.
Chairman, Commissioners, thank you very much.
Good
Thank you,
luck in
Carlos.
your endeavor.
Thank you, Mr. Tan.
Okay, Happy Day Commissioners. I'm Jessica Dede, Land Agent 3 with the CHamoru Land Trust Commission. The case I bring before you is Bernice Tudela Nelson, an agricultural lessee. Ms. Nelson is present along with and Tony Sablon. Okay, so during the board meeting of February 15, 2024, this matter was tabled to allow a formal determination regarding Bernice Tudela Nelson's eligibility under 21 GCA Chapter 75A, subsection 75A 101-2. The second matter is administrative record. Findings indicated that the agriculture lease was executed before the conclusion of a standard eligibility verification as required by the Act. 3, the leasehold violations. The lessee is currently non-compliant with the terms of the lease agreement. Unauthorized development on the property includes 3 structures erected without prior written commission authorization, required building permits, or approved construction plans. Furthermore, the property lacks an approved and recorded survey map. I just wanted to include that on the property, there is currently 2 power meters that are active on the property.
So
For
there's, and that's, so there's two structures, the power meters for structure.
One each structure, yes. So the legal references, verification of eligibility, eligible beneficiaries, 21 GCA, Chapter 75A, subsection 75A 101.2. Eligibility based on land ownership acquired by the United States government between 1898 and 1968. Requires the applicant to satisfy the following under 21 GCA. Substantive evidence, documentary proof of ownership consistent with Guam Ancestral Lands Commission standards, or a signed affidavit under penalty of perjury. Identification of the property, the applicant must provide a parcel number, legal description, or recognized identifier and the date of acquisition by the United States. Duty of best effort under section B of the GCA, the title, the applicant is required to use their best efforts to obtain this information. And then contrary to 18 GAR, Chapter 6, subsection 6106, application for leases, qualifications of applicants. An agriculture lease was awarded to Bernice Tredella Nelson on April 10, 2012. Statutory definition of a native CHamoru under 21 GCA, Chapter 75, subsection 75-107, the Commission's authority to lease land is restricted to native CHamoru's. The statute defines a native CHamoru as any person who became a U.S. citizen through the Organic Act of Guam, enacted August 1st, 1950, or a descendant of such person. The Organic Act specifically grants citizenship to those residing on Guam as of August 1st, 1950. In this case, while Ms. Nelson's grandfather was born on Guam in 1895, records indicate he relocated to Saipan in 1896, as Saipan did not become a U.S. territory until November 4th, 1986. There is a significant question as to whether the lineage meets the specific residency and citizenship criteria mandated by the Organic Act of Guam. So the third legal reference is findings of noncompliance. Unauthorized improvements, the lessee failed to obtain the express written consent of the commission before erecting the structures. This is explicitly labeled as a default of the lease and grounds for termination. Building compliance, the lessee violates the requirement to conform with all territorial building laws as evidenced by the lack of building permits and approved building plans. Survey requirement, the lessee has failed to fulfill the administrative requirement for a completed and recorded survey map for the property. Land use, while the file is pending eligibility, the presence of the three unauthorized structures without a recorded map or approved plan suggests the lessee is not in compliance with the farming and cultivation requirements, using the 2/3 tract of agriculture. So I just want to state that, first of all, Ms. Nelson, CLTC did not place Ms. Nelson on this property. She, at one point in time, she was there under, I believe, a land use permit, and, I'm sorry. Where did my notes go? Okay, so, I'm just gonna give you a little timeline. On July 24th, 1979, the Department of Land Management, DLM, issued an official letter signed by Director Demetrio R. Pablo, formally notifying Ms. Nelson that she is occupying government land without legal authority and is delinquent on required payments. Between the years 1979 to 1996, according to Ms. Nelson's testimony, following her marriage, Ms. Nelson left Guam completely for 17 years. The government lot is effectively abandoned during that prolonged period. In 1996, according to Ms. Nelson's personal testimony, she returned to the island after nearly 2 decades abroad. To To be considered a preoccupier, you would have to be occupying and continuously occupying the land from July 12, 1995 to present. And in 2010, Ms. Nelson stated that her family moved from Chalampago to Dededo, where she claims to have established and began operating her farm. Her lease was given in 2012, which was approved by the administrative director. According to the legal opinion from the AG on May 14, 2018, the Attorney General of Guam issues a landmark legal opinion to the CLTC declaring long-standing administrative practices illegal. The opinion established that the administrative director lacks the statutory authority to sign and execute leases, a power explicitly reserved for the CLTC Board of Commissioners. Consequently, any lease bypassed by the director and lacking board approval is deemed legally voidable. Currently, a formal site inspection and investigation confirmed that there is lease violations. So failed cultivation mandate. She is in direct violation of her agriculture lease agreement, completely failing to maintain the mandatory 2/3 agricultural cultivation on the property. And also, despite having no approved commercial license from CLTC, Ms. Nelson is actively running a paid gate fee model, charging $5 for residents, $3 for students, and $10 for tourists. The commercial fee structure aggregates her legal standing in two major ways. DCA, subsection 75A 101.2, she must prove lineage to an ancestor whose property was acquired by the U.S. government between 1898 and 1968. As of now, Ms. Nelson has not complied with that request. She must submit official land records, or if the documents are unavailable, a signed affidavit under penalty of perjury to maintain the lease. Failure to provide this documentation may result in the commission nullifying the lease to resolve a legal cloud. Also, if you go to the chronology of the staff report, on February, item 16, February 15, 2024, the Board of Commissioners requested documentary evidence of eligibility for the next meeting. At that meeting, Ms. Nelson did provide us a family tree. On item 18 of chronology, research was conducted on the land takings based on the names provided by the family tree, and the research was done by the CLTC staff and the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission staff, which we found no takings. So on February 19, 2024, the administrative director, John Birch, disapproved the verification of eligibility due to lack of information, which is one of my supporting documents. I've also put, I also submitted the meeting minutes, the commission minutes, to show when she, do you have that one? When she went before the board, no, down. I believe it's in 2009. So Ms. Nelson came before the board to request for additional acreage. She stated to the board that she only has half acre, but in fact, she never had a lease at that time. And then also the lease is non-compliant because her agriculture lease, she must be farming for subsistence farming. Now the activity that she's doing is you can have a residential lease agreement, and it's called a cottage industry. And if you look at the minutes, the legal counsel did mention that, and it was mentioned to her because she did request for additional acreage. And the board did not approve that. There was nothing, the board did not give any authority or further directive. But in 2012, the year 2012, the then director gave her the lease, awarded her the lease. And that's all I have for now.
So when so to your last comment, he awarded her lease, but are you saying that the lease was unlawful when it was awarded?
Yes,
It's a 2012 lease,
The
right?
Yes.
2012 lease, so that was an unlawful, a lease that was awarded, okay.
because it wasn't approved by the commission, that's
Right.
one. Two, they did not do the qualifications. In the file, there is, a letter from the director prior to 2012 informing of eligibility check. And that's due to, she didn't qualify under we needed more information because the information she provided did not qualify her under 75 that time. So moving forward, when we brought her to the board meeting in 2024, the commissioners at that time did inform Ms. Nelson that if she had any land claims, to bring it before the board, or she can do an affidavit, which I provided Ms. Nelson. I emailed it to her, we went out on a site inspection, and to this day, she hasn't submitted any documentation showing any land claims.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that this is a long-standing issue. My gosh, it's already more than 10 years, actually 15 years. And Ms. Nelson has been occupying that land, and she's already, made an investment, significant investment, because there's 2 power meters. And it seems that the CLTC staff has been working with her to come into compliance. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to hear from Ms. Nelson, please, just in the interest of time, because we also have a lot of, other constituents here that are represented. I really want to know, we're here to provide lands, for our people, right, for the constituents. So it seems that you're occupying this property, and the CLT staff has been working diligently and very closely with you to come into compliance. So where are you on that action, and what is your status so that we can move forward and you can have this make this a lawful lease?
I lent from the government since 1975. I left because I married, but my dad farmed on that property. When I come back, I'm a healer, so I've been, getting medicine in the woods. So I start planting in the backyard, and it's too full, so I asked for half acres. They give me the half acres, and then later on it was really, I have a lot of medicine to plant, so I asked for 2 more acres, and they gave me that too. My grandfather was born here. I have all the records, and I give it to her, but I've been there since 1975.
So for the record, may you please just explain to us, what does she need to do to come into compliance? What do we need to, how can we help Ms. Stadella Nelson to come into compliance?
Well, she has to submit to show that she is eligible beneficiary. And that's either, if she cannot provide us any land takings, then she can do an affidavit. But she has not submitted any of that. We've gone through it with her. I mean, even for the family tree, it took until we had the meeting for her to submit to us the family tree.
We have family tree, but they're all sold out. I don't know anything about. My dad is the only one that told me before he passed away that my grandfather owns a property here. And my uncle sold it for my grandfather. All my ancestors, my grandfather's from here. That's Adela and Ramirez and De La Rosa. So cannot show you all my tree, but they were from here. And I was awarded since 1975. We farmed that land. And right now, it's called Amut para Tautotano, means for the people of the land. And I plant all herbal medicine we go out. You wanna find it?
Can I practice? 6 copies of this.
And we go
The
out
letter
to school and teach the kids what we're stepping on for free. I don't charge anything. When they come over to the farm, I give them the herbal medicine free. So I pay my tax every year. And mine is like $1,000 for a whole year for my farm.
So, just to kind of stay on point, the discussion was affidavit, so is, being that the affidavit was requested, is that something you can complete and submit? Because what we're getting at right now is
Yeah,
compliance.
we're looking for that, but they're all sold, it's nothing taken from the government. I don't know if
Right,
the
so
county will.
The affidavit is just a document that you can complete and submit.
We submit it all.
Did you
No.
receive that?
She hasn't done the affidavit.
I don't,
Yeah, so I think that's something you can discuss with the staff, is we can give you a copy of that, all you gotta do is complete it and submit it.
But also in regards to what she was saying, the activity that she's doing is not in accordance to her lease agreement.
Right,
Yes, she may be doing herbal medicine, yes, but according to her lease agreement, she should be subsistence farming, right? She would get half acre, anything over half acre is considered commercial. Now, if she wants to do the omelet, she's able to do that, but she does have to get the authorization. And the first thing, if she wants to do the omelet, that's a different thing, that's a commercial. But in regards to her lease is what we're trying to deal with right now, and she is not in compliance. So, yeah, there's herbal and whatnot, but that is not what is approved for her agriculture lease agreement.
So, you had mentioned the cottage industry.
Yes.
For the current activity that she's, performing on the lot, if we change this lease to cottage industry type lease, would that bring her into compliance?
We don't have a cottage industry, however, under our residential lease,
Yes.
cottage industry is,
it's allowed.
Okay, so
Yes.
if we transfer it to a residential lease, would that bring her into compliance?
She would still have to qualify under to be deemed an eligible beneficiary.
Okay, so there's two things, one to be an eligible beneficiary, and the second to, be in compliance with the lease, with the
Right.
lease terms, okay.
Well,
And just to add
originally,
in that, we cannot transfer up, change application type.
and she did
Oh,
do
so you
that.
can-
We can't change application type. If it's agriculture and she wants residential,
Yeah.
she has to apply for residential and start from the beginning again. You cannot just switch your application type.
Yeah, but if they're currently, what is that, on the property, we can't entertain that, switching to.
No.
from-
The cloudy lease that was just passed last year,
Yes.
it specifically says that, to resolve this problem, to move forward with the lease, the lease terms has to stay the same. You cannot change it. So by altering it from ag to residential, you'll be
violation.
in violation of
Maybe you
the
can
public law.
bring it to the legislature to amend that law, to include that part. Because originally they were residential, they changed application type to agriculture or vice versa. Maybe the legislature can amend that, but it has to come from the board to
So-
request that.
The one thing I want to bring out that was mentioned earlier, we can verify that she was there for the longest time, like she mentioned early 70s, and through a land use permit program, and which is only on a year-to-year basis. And then she had mentioned that she left for a decade, for a long time. The law is very clear that once you abandon or vacate from the premises, you're no longer deemed as a preoccupier. You have to start all over.
You can't go back
can't-
to it on February 19, 2024. That was after the board meeting. And then we didn't have a board meeting after that. And
So you're
us-
asking us to just, how do you say, continue Mr. Birch's actions, or? from
whatever
2024?
information she's providing to the board right now to make that decision.
So from 2024 to today, has she submitted any other
She
subsequent
hasn't.
information?
No, she hasn't. And Chairman Garrido is correct at the board meeting, and it is in the minutes. He did request if she cannot prove the land claims, any information, she can do an affidavit.
Yeah, so there is a solution, it's just a
Yeah,
matter
she
of
can
her
do an
submitting the
affidavit.
documentation.
And I believe affidavits been brought to the board
Right.
before, so.
You know, personally, I'd really like to see how we could help you, but you'd have to work with us. I mean, I can see the value in what you do. It's definitely important for our culture. But I think any action that the board takes would, you know, I think we would have to ask for you to comply with everything that the land agents are asking for, so we can help you.
And
Mr. Della, you know, I'm from Dedo, so I know about the almond farm, and I'm very, thank you very much, you know, for carrying the lineage and the heritage of the CHamoru with the healing medicine. I can see where there's to blame on our part as well and other agencies, and I can see where you have fallen short as well, but maybe my suggestion is to get with CHamoru Land Trust and find out all your alternatives. If we go commercial, and this is appraisal value or whatever, are you willing to pay this dollar amount? I think we don't want you to lose it, and you've already, like Commissioner Fisher said, you've invested a lot already in
I
it.
did.
And I don't think you did that illegally. I think you did it based on that, the misinterpretation of what was granted to you. So in order not to lose it, I'm just thinking, do all the avenues
I know.
before it's lost.
And then if, you know, give me another land, I farm it. I don't put cars, broken cars. I plant medicine. And then the two power is one for my office and one for my house. But when the typhoon comes, it flew my office.
Daily, the growing of the healing medication doesn't, well, it doesn't, I would think it would meet agriculture, but even at that, her land, how big her acreage already is in violation, that already meets the commercial part.
Well,
Okay.
so
So,
lease agreement states that she is to do subsistence farming for her and her family. Now, she can do the other, you know, the Amit, which is, like you said, is good, but it's just not in compliance with your lease agreement.
So she would need to start doing some subsistence farming in addition to that, to comply with the lease.
Yes.
so let me ask, before I talk to Bernice, I'm gonna ask my land agent and my supervisor, what is your recommendation based on the issues on the table?
Well, right now, Mr. Chairman, our staff report is based in accordance to the law that we have to follow the mandates, and that we have already had presented to the board, and the reason why we brought it again here today is because, you know, there was a new law that passed last year, clouded lease. We were hoping that, you know, that we would have more information in regards to her qualifications, eligibility, 75A. As of today, there's nothing, but, you know, that would be the saving grace if we had that document today and move forward to the lease, because we don't have that. Then, like we said, you know, what was recommended by our past director, Birch, that the lease be terminated. The only thing, a way out I can think of right now is commercial. That's like I just suggested earlier. There's, unless she qualifies for the program, Chapter 75A, then we can revisit it again. But like I said, that's the reason why we brought it up today, because, you know, she's under the clouded lease. And then that's why you say, why wait to now? Well, because the new law passed last year. It brings back a lot of leases that was null and void to, you know, to have them qualify for the new law.
Did she make payment of the $99 for the 99 years?
Yes, I did.
If she did, we can verify that, and if there is a payment of $99, we can, if there's whatever, if from 2012 to current, and if she overpaid, the commission has to refund her the remaining years that she hasn't occupied.
So is it
But
true?
my outlook on this is, we do have to be a little bit compassionate although there are discrepancies on both sides of the fence, we need to try and find a middle ground that would be a win-win for everyone. But that would have to include you to be upfront and submit whatever is being asked of you, because you've been lacking in that. You know, we were going to discontinue your lease back in 2024, but I gave you a chance, right? I said, bring me documents that will prove your eligibility to be in the property.
The document you asked me to get is find out any of my parents or
To
been taking.
prove
But
that,
see, I cannot,
to prove that your family was here during that timeline between the Spanish-American War and the Organic Act of
1950.
Guam, which was 1950.
I was here in
Mr. Chairman,
1946.
May I say something?
Wait,
I was here in 1950, and I know I was born in 1948. My father came over here to help my
Where were you born?
Saipan, but I was here after 1950.
yes, but
So
part
The
of the
Organic
requirements
Act
is
is-
you have to be
Yeah.
US, right?
You have to be here physically in 1950. Were you here physically in
Yes. My father said that we left Guam when I was 4 years old. So we got here in 1948, and we left on 1952 or 53.
But they have to be a U.S. citizen by the Organic Act.
Yeah, so they
But
were
she
here.
she wasn't a citizen by the Organic Act, she was naturalized.
But her
No,
grandfather is people from Guam, somewhere in Guam. So her ancestral lineage is there.
Okay,
Yeah,
so-
but yes, understood that even the lineage, they were here, but part of the qualification is land takings. Is there any land takings that you can provide to us, the commission, that qualifies you under the,
Yeah, She's been hunting me to research because she gave me a bunch of documents. And I remember specifically to an apple title, and I saw Plantito de las, which is up in Anderson. That's one. I got another question though. If you were farming, what is subsistence farming mean? You know, I mean, you could be just eating medicinal vegetable and be a vegetarian. So
Well,
it could be subsistence
subsistence farming is defined under our act is from crop to table.
I
From
did-
whatever you
I have
produce
that.
is for family, then other than that will be commercial. Anything over a half acre is deemed commercial. Then, like say some people have 5-6 acres, that's not crop to table, that's already for.
So
See,
in the interest of
commercial
time,
use.
this discussion actually
Yeah.
should happen outside of the board meeting. So I would like to ask, in order to bring Ms. Nelson to compliance, 2 things that she needs to do is to do subsistence farming, is that correct? And then she needs to provide an affidavit of her eligibility, is that correct? Are those the only 2 things that she needs to do?
Correct.
Okay, so I think that moving.
Based on the half acre.
She has more than a half acre, that's her lease. If you want to continue with her lease, she has to be compliant with her lease.
Yeah, so in order for her to be compliant, for her lease, she needs to do the subsistence farming with her current, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanna make it very clear so she understands what she needs to do. And, I would like to, to present to the board to give her additional time, maybe 90 or 120 days to come into compliance. And that's it. If you're not able to do that, ma'am, I'm
Let
sorry,
me
we
say
have to move
something.
forward.
So, the medicine with herbs I have, you could do that for cooking.
Okay,
I
so
have
you,
a
yes,
lot.
you discuss that with the team, you discuss that with the
Yeah.
CLT, and see whether or not that qualifies. We're not here to determine that.
So
They'll be the
basically-
one to determine, and then you can come back to the board.
I went and did the inspection, I love what I saw. She did all medicinal, everything, and I even tasted, she even offered me some taste of her medicinal and everything. And which is like, if not 90% of her what's in there is medicinal, and a few, fruits, local fruits there on the property. But, I can say she is,
Okay, so you can, yes, so when she,
She
what I'm
fully
hearing is she
developed
needs to
her-
do two things,
Yeah.
okay? So we don't have those two things right now, so we need to move on, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
like I said, when we met with her 3 weeks or last month ago, we reminded her again about the affidavit. And again, since 2 years ago, we reminded her about the affidavit, and now we're gonna extend it again.
So this is a new board, to be
Okay.
compassionate, as our chairperson has asked. I would like to make a motion to,
Before you do, can I
Okay.
add one more thing?
yes,
Bernice, you're going to have to stop charging admission because that makes you commercial.
Okay, the mission is for nonprofit.
It doesn't matter, it makes you commercial
But
because
you
you're
see a
charging
lot of
people to
people
walk on
comes,
the
but I
property.
never charge.
Well, don't charge.
I don't charge, it's just that
Because-
we
Can you
have
take
donation
donations?
box.
Huh?
you can take, can you take
Donation
Can you
donations?
take
box.
donations in
Yeah,
lieu of?
that's what they put it in.
It's advertised,
Oh,
so
so you're advertising it.
she's advertising the fee.
So you'd have
So
to
all of
stop
these things, you
advertising your
need to
fees.
work with the land
You
agents,
have to work with
okay?
our
Yeah.
agents to
But
come
that's
into
To
compliance.
support my worker. I cannot, I mean, I put out
But
so
you-
much money for the.
But you have to
farm.
make a choice, Bernice, you have to make a choice for your betterment,
Come back to the
okay?
board and that's-
Right now, there's a big cloud on whether you should be on that property or not. We want to try and help you stay on that property, but you have to be able to follow the rules also. I know Mr. Sablan was here, he was here in 2024, okay, and he attested for you. But there's still no evidence on the table to show. And you've been asked to sign an affidavit, which would help you, but you refused.
I didn't refuse.
Well, you didn't sign. You didn't,
You haven't submitted it.
You didn't.
But if Mr. Sablan stating that there is land takings for the Tadellas and whatnot, so maybe you can provide that to us to help her as well. Or the affidavit, either one, both is still good, affidavit would be,
You can
Yeah.
advise her outside of this meeting.
yes.
Yeah, just so we can move on.
Yes, please.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to allow Ms. Tudela 120 days to come into.
Nelson.
Or Ms. Nelson, I'm sorry, Ms. Tudela Nelson. 120 days to work with the staff to come into compliance. After which I think we could come back to another meeting and see where we're at. And unfortunately, if we don't see any progress, we may have to void your lease. So just wanted to put that out there.
If I'm out of there, is there any compensation of what I
Ma'am,
put
you,
in?
There's a
you need,
motion.
yeah, you need to discuss that with the staff
Because
outside
I
of this
put out
meeting.
so much for,
You need to discuss that with the
people
staff
here.
outside of this meeting.
I mean, it's not for
There's a
myself,
motion on the
it's
floor.
for the people of Guam.
There's a motion.
There's a motion on the
A
floor.
motion has been made, can I get a second, please?
I second.
Motion has been made and second. We go for a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Since there's no opposition for the motion carries. We're open for discussion.
So I just want to make it clear, Mrs. Tudela Nelson, that the board has been very compassionate over the past several years. At the request of our chairman, he's asking us to continue this compassion for an additional 120 days?
Yes.
Okay. If you don't come into compliance, ma'am, you don't need to show up after the 120 days. I want to make that clear to you. Please
Okay.
do not come. You do not need to come. If you do not come into compliance in the next 120 days, the board would take action, the necessary action, as required by law. You don't need to show up, okay? So you need to take this very seriously. And you have help, with, I don't know if this is your niece or your granddaughter,
She's gonna. do
with Mr.
something.
Sablan, you have the help that you needed. I think that, they've given you enough time, but I want to make it very clear. We appreciate what you're doing for our culture, but at the same time, we need to all be law-abiding citizens.
Are there any further questions? Remarks? Mr. Sablan? Keep it under 3 minutes, sir.
If she's unable to find the document, because it's not that she's refusing, she's just unable to find. And I've hired 2 people, 2 weeks at my house and my office, and they're putting a lot of time, and I'm paying them to find that document that I was saying. she also gave me some of her documents, and I can't locate it. It's my fault.
The affidavit that they're asking for you guys to submit,
You
she'll
have- you
she'll
have
be
to discuss
attesting.
this.
Yeah, I mean,
You have to
can-
discuss this with
Yeah.
with
I
our
will discuss
agent.
that with her.
No, with our
And with
agent.
us as well.
You guys have to come into a meeting with the agent so they can trade off suggestions on how to become compliant. You should not, we should not listen to that right now. I'm sorry, Mr. Saban, because we do have a 3-minute limit on speaking, and we've already instructed our staff to try and help as much as possible, Mrs. Nelson. And she has to help herself also by providing, you're welcome to sit in with them because you can do your own testimony.
Yes, you.
May I, Mr. Chair, real quick? Mr. Chair,
You just said we can't
we
change.
discussed several options, it's not just one.
I know.
And so we'll take this offline, outside of this meeting, and figure out which works for you, if there's any.
Just,
Change it.
just for your information, Bernice, I was criticized for not
Back to.
kicking you out back in 2024. You know, like I said, I had compassion for you. He stood up and testified on your behalf, so I gave you more room to come to compliance with the issues that are overshadowing your clean lease title. So please, you must look at it seriously. If that's your granddaughter, have her be part of this so that she can move forward with it for you if you can't do it. And of course, Mr. Sablan has offered his services to you. Okay, thank you very much.
Jesus Marcy, everything.
I'll
Thank you.
look at-
We'll give you another affidavit form.
I think we got that.
Yeah, we have.
We'll just give you another copy, just in case.
Before going on, I'm gonna call for a 5-minute break.
Okay.
So we can deal with those all at once.
Yeah, we'll do it. All for 3 days.
Here?
There's family that you guys already approved.
No, but are they here?
No, there's one family member to represent all of them.
Okay. Next on the agenda is Mr. Pedro B. Blas Jr.
Don't you have to call us to order, but,
Okay.
oh, you did? Okay.
Thank you.
I really tapped the gavel.
Hey, I didn't hear it. My gosh, what's wrong with me? Tap it again, make it.
Gotta,
I know, you gotta make it louder, because if I don't put on my glasses, I can't hear.
Shall we have land agency supervisor, Glenn Gay to present?
Oh, that would be just.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Jessica dating, land agent three again. Jessica, please present, Pedro Blas Jr.
Okay, so, Commissioners, the next case is Pedro Blas Jr., an agriculture lessee. Mr. Pedro Blas Jr. is requesting to change his application and agriculture lease type back to residential. There is a leasehold violation. A site inspection on October 14, 2022 revealed that Mr. Blas is currently non-compliant with his lease terms. Mr. Blas constructed a carport on the premises without authorization, violating the building standards outlined in 21 GCA Chapter 767, the building code. I just want to mention that at the last meeting, the board did make a decision to reconfigure his property so he can be in compliance with the legal setbacks.
So it was a setback.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes. So, because I'm sorry, let me just go to my, so on June 16, 1998, Mr. Pedro Blas Jr. was initially awarded a residential lease. However, on September 3rd, 2002, Mr. Blas declined the residential lease for Lot 4, Block 3, Tract 1022 in Dedado, opting instead for an agriculture lease on Lot 10171 Dedado. A site inspection was conducted on October 14, 2022, which revealed that Mr. Blas is currently non-compliant with his lease terms. Specifically, he constructed a carport on the premises without authorization, violating the building standards outlined in 21 GCA, Chapter 67, the building code. Under 21 GCA, Chapter 75A, subsection 75A 126, the provisions of any new lease must remain substantially consistent with the lease terms of the prior agreement. Since Mr. Blas formally requested and was granted a change to an agriculture lease in 2002, the Commission shall deny any request to revert the application type back to residential status. So he's requesting today to revert back to residential.
But that doesn't, it's not not allowed under law, is that what I'm?
Under the Public Law 31-37, right? It's how it
allowed.
is. Yeah, you can't revert it back.
Okay, so then why are we here?
Because the last meeting, it was tabled, and we were going to seek legal guidance on it,
And the legal guidance said,
that the board can make that decision to revert it back.
no, so the legal guidance said that we should go against the law? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
No.
That's what that's
Where is
what
that
the
legal
guidance.
guidance? Is that included here?
No, I
Okay.
didn't put this
What
out
is that,
because it
just
can't be
verbal?
public.
That came from Attorney Miller?
Yes. You wanna pull it out?
No,
That's okay.
can we?
No.
Because legal guidance,
That's not public information.
But if we vote on it,
it's not that the board is gonna go against the law, it's that the board, because in the past meetings, there was 2 other lessees which the board did make the decision to revert back to their original state.
But I don't think at the time that the board was aware that that wasn't in compliance with the law. I'll tell you that right now. Because let's go back to those meeting notes, and I wanna see if Attorney Miller said anything about that. If he
About
pro-
changing the
Yeah,
application.
Was that
whether or
done
not
with
he
this
pro-
current
whether or not he
board?
provided proper guidance.
Yes, this
Yeah.
current board, it was stated that, but that is what I got the guidance on, and I can pull it out if you like.
Can we just discuss, currently, this is an agriculture lease. Mr. Blas, are you able to comply with this lease? Are you able to?
Comply with which one?
With your agriculture lease, existing?
I'm able as far as the building you're talking about?
No, as far as, subsistence farming.
You know, there's a lot I wanna say about that. First of all, I just wanna say thank you for the opportunity again to come back because I thought it was done last time. I was surprised when she called me and said that, we're gonna meet again before the board. And I know you guys approved it last time for me to re-survey the lot, or, you know, to shift over so I can come in compliance as far as the building is concerned.
Yeah, setback.
And then they told me as far as the reverting back to residential, they have to consult legal, right? So when I made a phone call, they said it was done, but I'm hoping that, you know, things can go my way. Anyways, there's a lot, as far as complying with the 2/3, it's almost impossible. If you come and see my place, right, so, I mean, there's just so many factors. They just recently busted the house, drug bust, directly right next to my yard. And I've had problems, those guys, I've come down there before with my guns to try to, cause they're coming on my property, they're stealing some of my stuff, they're breaking, you know, there's just so much issues. They're even stealing fruits next to my lot, my dad's lot. They're going all the way to the back, which is pretty far, over like 300 yards, and they're stealing the pineapple and other stuff he's planting. The puga trees in front of my house or next to my house, they're just coming and picking it. Not to mention the other islanders that are just driving by when I'm not home and walking to the back to get lemon on their own.
May I just,
So
I'm sorry,
imagine trying to comply with the 2/3. The only place that's left to plan is besides the road and next to that house, that's a drug house.
Mr. Petro, Blas, the issue that we're having is the lease that you signed is
Mhm.
agriculture. And in that lease, there's things that need to happen, and that's just, you know, we don't wanna break the law by recommending for anybody to revert anything, because I think it's contrary. So I think the biggest ask is, maybe look back at your lease and see what you agreed to, and do what you can to, so we've met with Department of Agriculture, and there's many ways,
Yeah, I've
that
spoken
you
to Glenn
can
about
plant
this.
subsistence
Yeah,
farming.
I mean, if
So-
there's just no way, I mean, of course, if I could revert back to the residential, that's what I would like, because that's, you know.
I wouldn't recommend for this board to address that at this time. I think that, again, you have an agriculture lease, and I think it's really in all of our best interest that you go back and read it and see how we can just comply with that.
Okay, but that's where the point I'm trying to make, if you're asking me if I can comply, because like I said, if you look at the layout of my place, the only place for me to plant is by the road, and imagine by my house, I'm having so much issues, so why would I, you know, it's gonna be crazy for me to plant my in front of my house and
But
right along the road, you know?
I'm not comfortable asking the board to do what's being asked.
Yeah, well, I wanna make a point, if, like I said, if they can't go back to reverting me back to residential, which, you know, if it's impossible, then that's okay, I understand. But if you could, then of course, you know, that's my hope, right, that's the easiest way out for me, at least to help me. But if they can't, then, Glenn mentioned, you know, there's a couple things, and I think when Joey was here, they agreed that even Joey agreed that it's almost impossible for me to follow the 2/3 to come into compliance. And then Glenn, I don't know if you recall, but he mentioned to me if I can plant at least 20 trees towards the back and do some little planter box,
Yes.
but to follow the 2/3 is almost impossible. I can plant, for sure I can plant in the back.
To follow
we just-
the 2/3, you know, is also by number of trees, you know, because a tree, like example, like say a coconut tree is
Yeah.
already like a 12 by 15, you know, so you can spread it, but when you put like 20 trees, you're probably in compliance already.
25.
Or 25, you know,
Yeah,
so, you
but
know,
that's what I
it
mean,
doesn't
if you
have,
look at the layout, you know, consider
and
to
the layout of your house, you could
Mhm.
see in the east side is like
field.
100 feet all the way down to your leaching field, which is green, you can see it in the pictures, it's nice and clean. You could use a raised bed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was gonna say, it doesn't have to
you
be in the
know,
ground.
Yes, doesn't
Yeah,
have to
no,
be
I'm
in the
not saying, I
ground.
mean, even if I put a raised bin, like I said, I mean, I'm okay putting it towards the back, but if you're talking about 2/3 of the property,
25
You know.
plants, is that?
Yeah, 25.
To be in compliance.
To be in compliance.
25 what?
25 plants.
Yeah.
Plants.
Oh, so I don't have to do the 2/3, is what you're saying?
That would be.
That's what I was
That would
told.
make it the 2/3, that's
So
the
even
number
if it's
three.
not 2/3 of the property, as long as I'm planning 25, and I don't have to plan in front of the rules, what you're saying?
That's
Towards
why,
the front.
I'm suggesting.
25 plants anywhere on your property, I
Yeah.
think, right?
But I suggest that when you do that, right, that you get a health department back to help you with a farming plan.
Yes.
That
Well,
would really meet the
I can do it on my own, I mean, I
requirements.
don't need them
I
to
think
tell
it's a
me how
good
to
idea,
plant,
no, but I
but.
think it's a good idea to have that conversation with either UOG or Department of Agriculture. But first, before you do any of that, I suggest you read your lease.
I have read my
So-
lease,
okay.
I'm like I
Okay.
said, you know, there's just a lot of, stuff that maybe a lot of people are not aware. And I know, I was the one who, requested to switch to agriculture, right, and stuff, but I was also, told by one of the CLT staff, that I had to revert back to residential at one point. You know,
Yeah,
there's just a lot, and like I said, it's not you guys' fault or anything, but it's just crazy. My dad's lot next to my house, or actually the one right adjacent to that, was his initial lot, and imagine he had the ground lease for that. He had chickens, he had his farming and everything, and CLTC came and gave another guy the lease on top of
So
the lease
Mr.
that he
Blas, I
already
think there's
leased.
a lot of misinformation in the
Yeah.
past, but what I'm hearing today is that, number one, this board cannot approve a reversion of release
Go
back to
back.
residential. So that's number one, I'm gonna tell you that right now, we will not do it. Number two, I'm already hearing from the staff that they're volunteering, that they're gonna help you, there's ways that they can actually assist you to come into compliance with the lease. Is that correct? Okay, so that's what I'm
Yeah.
hearing. So,
We already did we
Okay,
helped him with
so
the reconfiguration.
I would like to make a motion that the request to change his application type from agriculture back to residential will be denied.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and second. Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Since there's no opposition to the motion carries.
So
We're
just,
open for discussion.
yeah, further to discussion, you're not gonna get a residential lease, you're gonna have to stick with agriculture. But I think the staff has ways that they can help you to be in compliance with that agricultural lease. And could keep your structures as is, so you don't have to make any modification to your
Yeah.
personal,
Glenn.
yeah.
I guess I could, I
Is
could
that
just-
25
Yeah, you guess you
trees,
have to,
any type of
otherwise you're
trees?
you're
We
also,
can
yeah.
give them a
He's not a
listing of
guest.
approved,
Yeah.
Okay.
They can assist you to
Yeah,
yeah,
help
we
you
have a
figure out how
list.
to come into
Banana
compliance
trees,
without.
papaya
yeah.
trees,
We're talking
Coconut
long-term
trees?
trees,
Beetle nut?
coconut, I think.
Coconut,
No, honestly, I was.
they can give you
Everything,
ideas, can
I
we
was-
just, you can, outside of this meeting, they
Yeah.
can go ahead and give you that.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I mean,
Mr.,
like I
thank
said,
you,
I was
Mr.
just- I was
Blas.
really confused, why I was going before the meeting, I didn't know, I have no clue what, aside from,
Actually, on our call, you were very upset, and we mentioned to you that we couldn't change application type. And you did bring up all those other issues, before the prior meetings. So this is the only way, is if the board is gonna tell you that they're gonna disapprove it,
well, that's fine,
That's
like I
what we
said,
have
if
to
that's,
do.
if they can't do that, I mean, I'm still waiting for the authorization to survey, and I don't know where that's at, but you guys approved that last time, and I've called a couple
Is there an
times, followed up, and
authorization
there's
to
nothing.
survey next?
it wasn't completed yet because he
You need to get
wanted
him
to
to come
change
here.
his application
Okay.
type.
So now that we're set
Yeah.
on the agriculture, we can give him that authorization to
Yeah.
survey?
And then the one with his the one that he's getting the land from,
Yeah.
that one, before we can issue a survey authorization, he has to
Complete the
qualify.
reconfiguration.
Yeah,
Is it
in order to
completed?
complete that, he has to go through the qualifications again, right, to be an eligible beneficiary. Yes, you already did it, but the other part, your dad hasn't done that yet.
My brother did, because he's the one, remember, we did all the paperwork, he was with me here in the last board meeting.
Yes, but there was other stuff that would need it, but then,
Can we take this
Yeah.
Yeah,
offline
if
and?
you guys
Sure.
can work together with them and,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
only told to come to the board too, I didn't even know, like I said. And as a matter of fact, I was told, that I wasn't getting the authorization to survey because somebody from land management, wasn't approving it or something. I didn't know it was because I was trying to change my,
well, it sounds like we could move forward now, so,
Yep.
thank you for coming in.
Thank you,
And,
Mr. Blas.
Good luck, Mr. Blas.
Yes, our team will work with you to move this forward, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, we can move now to new business.
Okay, before we go to new business, let's take a roll of the constituent matters that are here. So we can skip the ones that are not. Mark Wright?
Mr. Mr. Mark Wright is deceased, and the daughter's requesting to be deemed as eligible beneficiary and to take over Mr. Wright's residential applicant.
Is the daughter here?
I haven't met her, but I don't see her.
Is there anyone here representing the Wrights?
Okay, so we'll skip Wright for
Is
now.
Angelica Wright also,
We'll table it.
okay. Do we have to?
The next item is Angelica L. Wright, again. Angelica is deceased, and the daughter, Charlene Wright, is requesting to be named successor.
Is she here?
I don't think she's here. No.
If she's not here, we're gonna skip it.
Okay.
Brianna Rose Davis Bossa.
Sir, the next items 3 through 8, we can, it's the same family.
Oh, that's me. I'm
Yeah.
present
It's the same
via
family.
Oh, she's also
Google Meet.
Brianna Rose Davis.
Yeah,
Brianna Rose Davis is.
Hello?
Brianna, are you able to turn on your camera?
Oh, yes, yes.
Thank you.
And you are?
I am the daughter of Brita Davis, the sister of Rodney Perez, granddaughter of Antonio Kitungico Perez.
Are you representing Brianna Rose Davis Bossa?
Are you Brianna Rose?
I am Brianna Rose.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to make it known that she is my niece, my first cousin's daughter. She doesn't live with me, but I didn't know if that's a conflict of interest, being that this is my first board meeting.
Okay, so, Mr. Chairman, so here today in constituent matters, new business rather, items 3 to 8, they're all coming in as, through an affidavit that they are a descendant or even family member of property was taken by the U.S. naval government. In the past, Mr. Perez, he came before the board, and that's his family member, and they're all coming through the, has their individual.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Before we go on, let's find out who's here, who's represented in this
Okay.
1 through 8. And
All right.
those who are not represented, or we'll skip.
Okay,
Is everyone represented in items 3 through 8?
is Juanita Perez Landucci here?
I'm representing them, they were supposed to be here last meeting, but it was already postponed. But then they had to leave off island, so I'm here to represent them.
Do you have authorization from a written consent?
They have the link, I told them, but that,
So we'll table it for now
Yeah.
and at any time.
Okay,
Thank you.
So who, which of these constituents are you here to represent?
so we have Selena, Perez Pablo, Doris Ann Perez Nicholas,
those are all my sister and my daughter.
Priscilla
Yeah,
Perez Nicholas,
Yeah,
and Benny Tenor Perez. Are they here?
they're not here, they were supposed to be here last time, but then, I don't know if they gave them the link again.
Yeah.
I'm just here because,
So the only one here is
Selena
Juanita.
Pablo's online.
right there.
Okay.
So Selena and Juanita's here.
Selena and Brianna.
Oh, Brianna, I'm
And
sorry.
Brianna.
Yeah.
So the other 4 we have to table? Is that correct?
Yes. So we can continue with Brianna Rose Davis Baza. So Brianna Rose Baza, item number 1 matter, Ms. Brianna Rose Davis Baza is requested to be deemed eligible beneficiary. Legal reference here is mentioned in Title 21, Chapter 75A of Guam GCA 75-101.2, verification for eligibility beneficiaries. Item number 3, facts. The applicant date and time is January 23rd, 2026 at 2:28 p.m. number 8,540. Original application type is agriculture. Also in chronology, in item number 4, January 23, 2026, Ms. Baza submitted an affidavit for eligibility, occupied farm or ranch. So in summary, Ms. Brianna Rose Davis Baza, January 23, 2026 affidavit states that Antonio Quitongico Perez, her maternal grandfather, according to her January 23, 2026 COTC family tree form, and he was living in Joaquin Cruz Perez, lot 380 in Agana for an unknown period of time to July 7, 1947. According to Ms. Baza affidavit, there was no rent paid because it was a family property, but any expenses, including the taxes, were shared. Lot 380 in Agana was placed of the family home, and she is unaware if there was any farming activity conducted. According to Ms. Baza's affidavit, the family house was rebuilt after the liberation of Guam and prior to taking of the property. Ms. Brianna Rose Davis Baza is requesting to be deemed an eligible beneficiary under 21 GCA Chapter 75A based on her January 23rd requesting to be deemed as eligible 23rd, requesting to be deemed as eligibility
Occupied farm or ranch.
for occupied farm or ranch, stating her grandfather, Antonio Perez, and siblings were living in Joaquin Perez, lot 380 in Agana for unknown period at the time of July 7, 1947, in which it was acquired by the U.S. Naval Government of Guam. Guidance, 21 GCA 75A of Guam Code Annotated 75A 101.2, verification of employment beneficiaries, placed the approval of the status of eligibility. Eligible beneficiary is upon the review of documentation, declaration or affidavit, and any additional research the commission conducts. The commission shall determine whether the person, in this case, Brianna Rose Davis Baza, is an eligible beneficiary. So attached, with this staff report, Ms. Brianna Rose Baza submitted an affidavit for eligibility occupied farm or ranch. So it's the commission's decision to determine if the information provided to the commission shall be deemed eligible as the beneficiary, according to 21 GCA Chapter 75A.
What's the recommendation of the?
The recommendation was that there is a connection, because her affidavit states that she has a family member that was living on lot 380 in Agana.
Right.
She specified the date, the time, location, and there was an actual taking on that lot.
Okay.
So it's
So it's supported.
So
it supports her
She's
claim.
eligible?
Yes, it's eligible.
So
Yes.
she's eligible
Yeah.
to,
Okay.
when her date and time comes, right?
When her dating time comes, because she
She's
just
an
applied
applicant,
this year.
yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
But it just
It just-
satisfy the eligibility.
Yeah, that's the requirement,
Of her
to application.
I don't see any problem in assigning her as
eligible.
eligible,
Yeah, eligible,
And,
because she's the granddaughter.
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, we've done the same on
Same
other
thing as,
properties, right?
right.
Right,
Family
okay.
member.
Mr. Perez,
Same
family
Right, right,
member.
same family member, okay.
And also the
Same
next,
way
the
they
same
qualify.
one's coming up next is gonna, she
Yeah.
has her own,
Application.
affidavit stating that she was living in or a family member was
Yeah, I
living
was
in occupied.
kind of reading it, and it's basically the same. Could we make one motion to deal with both of them at the same time, or is
Number
that?
Well,
three and
the ones
four?
that are here
Yes, yeah.
represented.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I don't think they need representation, I mean, They don't need to physically be here to represent themselves, do they? Because we have their documentation.
Yeah, I mean, and the documentation is almost identical,
It's
right?
like copy and paste, more or less.
Right. So could we deal with items 3 through 8 without any issue? Just
That's what I
to,
wanted to ask, it's, why reinvent the wheel? That's
Yeah.
my sister, we're all the same.
Right.
Just unfortunately that you guys always cancel the meeting, so they have to leave for medical reasons, and
Yeah.
I tried to get the, the affidavit, but you know how it is, they're in a different time zone, I don't know what, so,
Well, they'll have to meet other things as we get
Yeah.
to the point where
right.
she'd be issued a lease. There are other things that they'll have to.
the submit,
I'm
right?
Yeah.
comfortable because, because of the affidavit and like we just mentioned that it all comes, it's a family member.
Right.
And that,
Same way they qualify.
because all the questions that was answered and there was an actual taking, and that's what we always look for, and it was a family home. Like you said, they were living occupied there, prior to the war and after the war.
Right.
So, yes,
Are there any defects in the other?
no, I didn't see any.
So,
Okay, so we can
no,
put a motion on the floor?
okay, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to deem the people named in items 3 through 8 and new business to be deemed eligible beneficiaries.
I second the motion.
A motion has been made and second. We go for a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, the motion carries. Any further discussion? Congratulations.
Congratulations to your family, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, new business, item B, application for removal from the award list pursuant to 18 GAR subsection A1148. Eileen Tragloff will present.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Commissioner, and Director. I'm here to present 76 applications for removal from the award list pursuant to 18 GAR subsection 6A114. And what it is this was a collaborative effort with the team to actually review the files, a total of 126 files, because this was batch 4 and 5, which the commission approved. And it took for us to review the file, send out notices as required by law, and that was through certified mail, and also published it. And all efforts were exhausted to contact them via telephone or email. And there's a spreadsheet in your packet which show how many times we tried to contact them, and we just used all efforts. So recommend for the board to take action for items 1 through 76.
And the action being?
To remove from the award list pursuant to 18 GAR subsection 6A1148.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask, before we do that, what are the requirements that we did? I see there's a lot of calls.
We
Was
also
it-
send out certified mail, which cost us almost 2,000 for
Okay.
just one batch. And then we published it also. And if they had an email in file, if they did update theirs, then we would contact them via email. And the law specifically says that all applications whose application information is not current will be given 90 days with written notice to update the information. When notices either be served personally upon the applicant or be sent to the applicant by registered mail, which we did,
Okay,
addressed to the mailing address as indicated in the application. If notice is not personally served, it shall be published, which we also did. And then if the commission takes action on this, they have 30 days to file an appeal, and provided by the administrative adjudication law. Do you have any other questions?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to remove the removed from the award list pursuant to 18 GAR 6A 114A, items number 1 through 76.
Have a motion on the table, can I get a second?
I second.
I have a motion and a second, we're going for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The motion passes. We're open for discussion. Is there no discussion on the matter, we move on?
Mr. Chair, under new business, item C, we have the Guam Police Department, lot 7054-1 Giga. Anybody here representing GPD?
All these 4 items are under GPD?
Yes, correct. So the first
Sir,
item.
sign in, please. Sign in.
Was that?
This is the important part.
And when you speak, state your name for the record. Thank you.
So, shall I proceed? So lot 7054-1 Gigo is a transfer to GPD pursuant to public law. In the packet, we have the deed of transfer. By law, this is our responsibility, so I think there's no,
Yeah.
nothing contentious, or it sounds like an easy one.
Yeah.
I just think that we should just make note under item 3 under property description, is that the police facility is not constructed on this lot within a certain period of the time that the ownership of the property shall, without requirement for any further notice or action, automatically revert back to the grantor, which is the CLTC. That's my only comment.
So noted.
So,
So I think it's the same with the additional lots 15 through, I mean,
No, so,
that's it. We
same
don't need to
with
make a
lot
motion,
15, correct?
right?
we don't need to make a
Block
motion.
F,
We don't need to make a
Barracuda
motion.
Heights.
Okay.
However, it does change down.
Okay. So is there any action required with the deed of transfer? Or are we just acknowledging their,
We're just ready to move on with
So I would
issuing the
like to make-
deed.
Yeah,
Issuing
well,
the
I
deed
would like to
pursuant
make a
law.
comment to C, lot number 2. I believe this is the lot that came to our attention sometime last year. The GPD made a request for this lot, and this board specifically said no, and we would provide an alternate lot. The GPD went ahead and they approached the legislature to put together a bill to give them this lot. So for the record, I wanted to be clear that this board does not truly agree, but we are granting the lot based on public law. That's it, it's just a comment.
So what is our role for this?
Sign it.
Huh?
Our role is to sign it and abide by the law, that's what our role
Yeah.
is. But I wanna
There's
make
no
it clear
action, no.
that We didn't agree to that.
Under duress.
Correct. We're giving it under duress because we are instructed to do so.
When you're gonna,
Yes, so next one, item number 3, is lot 527 Mariso. So what it is, we received a letter March 31, 2026, directed to the chairman, Earl Garrido. Request is for written consent, lot 527 Mariso and lot 11-1, tract 9, block D, Barragata. The letter reads, "Have a day, Mr. Garrido. The existing Government of Guam land mobile radio communication system is managed by Guam Police Department and is over 30 years old. We are currently in the process to upgrade the system, which includes infrastructure upgrades to support the new system, including new generators and housing for some of the sites. We are respectfully requesting for CHamoru Land Trust Commission Board to provide written consent to construct generator shelters at the Guam Land Mobile Radio, LMR, communication sites at Mariso, Tigua, and Barragata Heights, referenced in the above subject line. Attached is a civil drawing that was prepared by and signed by TJ Engineering. Please let us know if you need additional information in order to bring the request to CLTC Board at the upcoming April 2026 meeting, which is today in May. Thank you for your assistance in this important matter. And this is, like I said, coming from GPD. So this is a request, again, like I mentioned in the letter, to upgrade the system, putting the generator shelters in their facilities, and those 2 lots mentioned. The first one that I want to focus on specifically is lot 527 Mariso. Lot 52 Mariso, there's a lease there, and the lease is to GTA, and their lease ends 2035. There's a lease there. So what's happening right now is that they have equipment down there in the antenna, that's the sites there that supports the entire Guam, especially the south. And there's equipment there, and there's a generator, and they want to upgrade it and house it. The only problem is that I don't have any documents stating that how they got there, or any lease or license agreement. But like they mentioned, it's been there over 30 years. That was before our time. So this must have been through the land management, more or less, agreement that we don't have. I've been trying to I've been in touch with GTA, the assisting, if like say they have any MOU or MOA or anything, what have you, having them placed on their lot. And as of to date, they haven't found anything or returned my call. But it's important that, that to me, they continue this project, because this project is, it's very important needs of, as far as communication. But in moving forward, there has to be some sort of agreement between GTA and them, how we can get together, put some sort of, agreement, having them place their equipment there on that said lot. So that's just my, my proposal.
So are you saying that there is an existing lease with GTA,
Yes.
with the government of Guam or
Yes.
CLTC?
CLTC,
With GTA, and that
Yes.
ends in 2035?
yes.
Okay, so if there is already a lease in place and GTA is the lessee,
Yes.
why are they not approaching the
Yeah.
lessee? Why are they approaching us? There's an existing lease, we don't have actual control of the land, and whatever happens on this property will be the responsibility of GTA. If there's a fire or any kind of environmental, residue, it will
Yes,
fall
yeah.
under, GTA is the one that needs to be the one to.
Understood,
respond
but
to
at the
us. So why are
time
they
when
asking
they,
us?
when they wrote the letter, they
At the time,
knew
who wrote
that
the
it was
letter?
our property, but they didn't know that it was leased to somebody
Okay.
else. So, and this is where we are today, this is my findings.
Is there any authorization needed on our part, considering that GTA currently has a lease? I mean, can they just talk to GTA and get that approval from them and proceed in that way?
I think it depends on what the lease states though.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
if the lease states that, GTA can alter or whatever, I
That's
don't know,
needed, right?
the lease is not here.
Yeah.
And you said you don't have a copy of the lease?
We don't have any
Okay.
copy of such lease, it doesn't exist. Even, in
So then how do you know we
GPD
have
have
a
Mr.
lease?
Peda right
So
here.
how do you know we have a lease?
She can to represent
Okay,
GPD.
Hi,
Yeah, but she's
my,
representing GPD, the
Good.
requester.
Yeah, but as far as looking for records too, she was trying to find out if there's any lease or license or what have you. We're both of them couldn't find anything.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so I'm asking you, you are telling this board that CLTC has a lease with GTA.
Yes,
You're saying that, and you know that for a fact.
yes.
So where's the lease?
I have it,
Okay.
you should have a copy of it, and if
Is
not,
there?
I have a I have my,
Okay,
I have my
so what you
lease
need to
here.
do is go back to the lease and see what does the lease provide for? Does the lease provide for
It's for
GTA?
telecommunication.
Yeah, but does it provide for adding new things, or, we have to go by what the lease.
Does the lease require them to come back to us if they're gonna do new construction?
Right,
Or are they do they have free, reign to do that on their own?
Yeah, that language wasn't put there. It
okay,
was- yeah, we're
so
just- yeah.
this matter needs to go to the legal counsel. If GPD wants to do something on this property that's already currently under lease, they need to go to the leasee, talk to the leasee, let them know what they wanna do, bring it to us, we can ask our legal counsel whether or not GPD's request is valid and whether or not it's within the realm of the lease.
Yes,
That's-
understood.
Yeah, okay, so I think that's the proper, venue or the proper protocol for this, because this is currently under lease, is that correct?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
in the lease date.
So I'm not sure why we're here before the board.
How long is that GTA lease?
There's additional
It
20
ends in
years.
2035.
There's 20 years left on it?
About 20
Yeah.
years left in it, yeah.
10 years, 10
The
years.
10? 2035? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
10 years.
So that means GTA's paying us for, gotta be a commercial lease, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm.
So we can't entertain anyone that wants to do any kind of business on property that's already leased out.
We just wanted to get your guidance, and like you just suggested, we're gonna follow that. Because they had mentioned that they need to do this project, and how we can they can
So I
move
wanna
forward.
make it clear that this
Yeah.
is an administrative matter. I don't want to see another request like this before the board. If the property is already under lease, the board, we cannot, I don't even know what the terms of the lease are. I don't think that we can just interject and tell the lessee what to do. We can't do that because the property is under lease. So this matter should not have even come before the board. I just want to make that clear. So please screen the letters and what the request is before it comes before the
The
board.
fee simple remains with us, but the leasehold
Yes.
is GTA.
So I think we need to move on to another matter.
Yes.
I think it would be, would actually put us in a position of liability if we make a change to, that's in violation of the lease, right?
Correct,
So-
correct.
If I may, my name is Lee Pareda, I'm a Special Projects Coordinator of the Guam Police Department. When we went to go request for the building permits for these generators, and GTA is aware that we are putting in new generators, we are in the process of formalizing an official MOA with them, with the new system. But we were told by Department of Land Management that we needed written consent from the CHamoru Land Trust Commission because they're the owners of the land that we're asking
You
for
don't need written
generators.
consent, GTA needs written consent
Okay.
from us because they're the lessee, so they
Okay.
need to bring this matter
Yeah.
before us.
Okay,
Whether or not it's, doable within the lease.
okay.
Because if they're not even able to do it within the lease, then why even waste your time, quite frankly?
Okay.
So you need to approach the lessee.
I think that,
Okay.
Commissioner Respicio is right. We'll send it to legal counsel
Yeah.
to see if this type of activity is allowable. And then perhaps you need to speak with GTA
Okay.
and
Yeah,
GTA will come to us.
GTA would have
Yeah.
to come to us to make the request because they're the legal lessee.
GTA is a private entity now, it's not a government.
Right, which is when the first initial
Mhm.
tower was erected, it was when GTA was a government of Guam agency.
Okay.
But that's just for information, that's just for the lot 527. The lot 11-1, which is in Barragata, is the main site of the Guam Public Safety.
One moment.
Just the next
Are we ready to move on? Okay, then allow her please to
No action
introduce,
necessary on the.
yeah, for
Right.
line number
Like
3.
7, right?
Please introduce, action item number 4.
So, number 4, I'd like, mentioned in the letter, 11-1, track 9, block B is located in Bargata Heights. They're requesting again to upgrade their system there and I believe a right of entry, also for upgrade the power system underground. And my findings there again is that we don't have any lease or contract or license with GPD. Although the only thing I can find is a 1985 map that shows that them being there for their emergency system for their antenna site. That's it's in the map, but that's just an exhibit. But I don't have any documentation that supports that.
That supports what? Let me see
That there's a lease.
Okay.
So I went ahead and I called GPA to find out, actually whose meter is there, who's paying for that meter, and I have Mr. Gumatata here. But anyways, I spoke with Beth at GPA, and they said that there's a meter that's billed to, if I'm not mistaken, a GPD, and they're the one paying for that meter there. How they got their equipment there and everything, we don't know. We don't have any
So there's nothing
documentation.
recorded at Department of Land Management that, okay.
Yeah. Same situation.
Okay. So I think that a lot of things, have happened in the past, right? And, they've taken, whatever venues they saw fit at that time. I think the board is here to make sure that, we've said it many times, correct the, sins of the past. So I think the proper way to move forward with this request would be, there has to be some kind of documentation, some kind of MOU filed, I don't know where, I need your guidance on this, Director Camacho, with Department of Land Management, that we grant, first of all, since there's something already existing there, that we will grant them that parcel to use, number one, because if they're not, there's no legal document that allows them to be there, number one. So let's put that in place, right, since it's already existing, and, say, refer to this meeting that we discovered there's no legal document, but they are there, we don't know when it was put there, but, or if you do, include that. That's number one, and then from there, we can grant the easement, just for future planning purposes, because what's happening in the government of Guam, and it's not only with regard to CLTC property, it's and with regard to all properties on the island of Guam. People transfer their property to their spouse, to their daughter, to their husband, there's no record of it and there's no map. So in order to also assist future generations, let's go ahead and make it, I don't wanna use the word legal, but let's do it the proper way, it's already there. We're assuming it's legal because it's there, let's just go ahead and carve it out, whatever the square meters are, we need to put everything done properly, record it, and let's record the grant of way, because we're gonna grant you a right of way, this is what I see as this request, you're asking us to grant a right of way to property that's not even legally recorded, it doesn't make sense.
The Bargata
Yeah,
Heights
you
is
know
the
what I
one by
The radio
St.
barrel.
Dominic?
Yes, no, the others, the opposite side.
This is right across
Am
the
I
property we
reading,
just
am I
needed that.
speaking
Yeah.
correctly, Commissioner?
It's near the property
Okay,
that was
yeah.
just needed.
Do you
yes,
understand
for
what I'm
the-
saying?
yeah,
Okay.
Across the Regalo Foundation.
So let's get this properly recorded, the piece of property that you're already using, and then we can grant, then we can move forward and let's grant this rights of way.
But is my understanding correct that it is recorded at Department of Land Management?
Well,
I heard you.
Because we got the map from Department of Land Management, so.
The map is only identifies that GPD has a
That we're on.
Antenna.
antenna there,
Right,
right, for
right.
communication. but it doesn't, but there's no formal documentation that formalizes that.
That allows us to be on the
To be there,
property.
right.
Correct.
So let's
Okay.
formalize that.
Understand it. Okay.
So that for future generations, there's no, hiccups, there's no mishap, because that's what's happening throughout the island,
Mhm.
and we just need to do it right.
And so
Okay.
I think what I'm hearing is we're not transferring the property.
No, we're not, yeah.
We are only doing an MOU to allow you to occupy it, so that you can have your antennas and that. And with that will be to grant you the right of entry.
Yeah, so that needs to, there needs to be a discussion open, I don't know, do that on a sidebar for how long, et cetera, what's the square meters, we need to actually put a footprint to it.
Is there any board action necessary to enter into an MOU with
I
them?
think not at this time. I think you could just instruct us to develop one, and then once it's something that we can work out with them, we'll bring it to the board.
Yeah.
And we may have to carve out the parcel because it's a big lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's only what needed,
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's the proper way to move forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that need a motion,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Chairman? Then,
Yes,
okay,
we need a motion.
go ahead.
Because we need a motion to either table it because we need to do further research into it or move forward.
So would a motion to move forward with the development of an MOU with GPD be in order? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
To
So-
accommodate the request.
Right. So, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to instruct management to develop in conjunction with GPD an MOU for a portion of lot 11-1, track 9, block D.
I have a motion on the table, can I get a second?
Go ahead.
Did you want to add something?
Yeah, I think if you could consider allowing us to perhaps, not just an MOU, but it could be a lease or a license or some other instrument.
Okay, so MOU, lease, license, or other instrument.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll restate my motion. So, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to authorize management to work in conjunction with GPD to develop an MOU, license, lease, or other instrument as deemed necessary for a portion of lot 11, track 9, block D.
11-1.
11-1, sorry.
I second.
A motion has been made and second, we go in for a vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Since there's no opposition to the motion, it carries. Any further remarks? There being none, we move on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item D,
Thank
under
you.
new business, is a
Thank you.
duplicate
Thank
of
you.
the lot that you,
Yeah, we just
for
mentioned.
C4. So,
Are we on item D?
yeah, that's the
Okay.
same
It's a
as,
duplicate.
It reflects
Oh,
to
oh, I see,
11-1.
Okay, okay.
Right,
so
but
we address
that one's actually
That's an
with
error.
GPA, right? Or,
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
No, he said it's an
It's just
error.
an
oh, it's an error. Okay, okay, got it.
Okay, now we're on E.
Lot 10122-12.
okay, so this is a letter from Guam Water Works addressed to me. This is a request for expansion of existing footprint, Kaiser Reservoir Site and Deep Well on lot 10122-12. This is for informational purpose to the board. I believe this 10122-12 is in reference to GICC, and therefore, we will guide GWA to address it with them.
So what you're saying is this is,
A letter addressed
yeah,
to me,
this is,
however, it's
yeah, no, but the lot is actually already leased.
GICC.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, so the same.
We have some folks from GWA here, though.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Brett Rayleigh. I'm the Assistant General Manager for Engineering at GWA. My understanding with this lot was that this was one of the grant deed lots that was surveyed, and I believe what we're doing is asking for a revision to acreage so we can have it resurveyed.
I guess
And that, in order to allow us to get additional footprint that we're gonna need to put the treatment system in place for the treatment that'll be needed for the PFAS and dealment and other contaminants in the water in the wells in that area.
So can you just provide some clarification, Acting Director Camacho?
Yes.
When I saw this lot number, I was like, oh, I think that's the same lot number as GICC, correct?
Right.
So, but then he's also referring to a grant. Oh, no, the grant deed, it's not a land grant. Okay, I'm just getting this through my head.
There's several wells within that GICC
Revision,
property.
Right.
revision
So-
to acreage, that means bring it back to its original state, it is the land acreage. And then there's, like I said, you're gonna go back and
Resurvey.
resurvey, right,
a larger,
to expand.
to expand the footprint, because there are a number of wells, there's a concrete reservoir, there's some other items there, and then we're gonna,
That
we
may
would like to
impede
resurvey
with-
that to get the larger
with
footprint.
GICC.
Yeah, I think that would take discussion with GICC.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
It would affect,
Correct.
it may affect the appraisal, right? if it-
Right, it's gonna
Correct.
affect it.
Yeah,
We're entered into an agreement with GICC already on the same lot. Therefore, I think you need to approach them, and then, if there's any changes to this, you can come back with GICC. We can't enter into another agreement with you with, a contract, with an agreement with GICC.
GICC is the leaseholder for that property.
Yeah.
So that,
But then I'm confused at how we were able to carve out the maps for those wells that we've already carved out when the lease for the golf course has existed for
I think the
years and
lease,
years.
the lease for the golf course came after your water wells were put in.
But they were not surveyed out until recently.
Perhaps,
But
perhaps.
all the same, the leaseholder is GICC.
Yeah,
So you should have discussions with them, and then they should bring it before us.
Just for example, they recognize there are wells there, they know that, okay? So just an example, if each well is, this example, 10 by 10, you wanna carve it out and expand it to a 20 by 20, which will also be impeding into their lease agreement, you know, you're gonna be, their lease is gonna be, area is gonna reduce. So that's why you have to consult with the.
and it may
with
also affect their
GICC.
master plan for what they've decided to do with that.
Based on their
lot.
available property, yes.
Yeah.
How much,
So-
how many megawatts they can
produce,
provide.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct. My understanding is that they will have to come through the permitting process when they
They're doing that
put
now.
forth their solar farm. And during that process, GWA will have the ability to tell them we're not gonna allow them to put, for example, solar panels over the existing water lines that are
but
on the
you're asking
property.
to expand, so what we're saying is if you want an expansion, go back to GICC, talk to them, see how you guys can work things out, so that when they go through the permanent process, and you say, okay, this portion has already been carved out for GWA's use. That, we're talking about the expansion portion, the existing portion remains as is, they are aware that those wells are there. It's property that they're already paying for. And so for the expansion, for this request, this is the request for an expansion, correct? Yeah.
As
Is
I
this-
understand it, and I apologize, our property person
Yeah.
is on leave and not available today.
Sure.
But the way it's explained to me is that we're requesting to
Expand,
resurvey
okay,
the property cutouts allowed under the grant deed for the existing well sites that are on that piece of
so
larger
the
property.
first sentence says to expand the existing operational footprint.
That's correct,
Yes.
because that will be required in order for us to put the treatment systems in place to treat the contaminants that are in the wells that will need to be
So
treated.
you work with
But that's in
NCC.
addition to where your
Yeah.
footprints are
So
already on
That's
the
correct,
ground.
those treatment systems do not exist today, they need to be constructed.
Right.
So that's why this discussion should be between you and GICC at this point, because they are the leaseholders.
So you can work something out.
And if you can't, the permitting process is where you have a voice. Don't you think?
All right, we will definitely take this back and do what we need to do on our end, but that was not my understanding of the process that was available today.
Well, like I said, right now the leaseholder for that property is GICC. They're aware of the number of wells on the property, but you're asking to expand the area. And that may intrude in their master plan for their R&D.
I'm sure that the conversation, I think, will eventually come back to
Yeah.
Yeah.
CLTC for decision, but.
But it's gotta
yeah.
come back through GICC because they are the leaseholder. I don't know what else to say.
All right, thank you then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
PD Mayor's office. There's a letter from the PD Mayor addressed to Chairman Garrido. In a nutshell, there's a coral reef nursery that was severely damaged because of environmental conditions in the PD Assen watershed. University of Guam Center for Island Sustainability offered to apply for a National Fish and Wildlife Foundation Coral Reef Conservation Fund grant to execute a reforestation project in the village of PD. The ask is for permission of CHamoru Land Trust Commission to conclude this project on this property.
So to conclude this project on this property, like what kind of instrument do we need to use? Do we have to grant them is this a long-term? Are they gonna use the property like for 50 years or what is it exactly that they're asking? So I think it's it's a very important thing that we need to protect our reefs, but they're not very specific in their ask. So I don't really know what they're asking. They're just saying, oh, can we use that property? Okay, like well, for how long? Is that permanent use? It doesn't seem like it's even been surveyed out. So, okay, we're gonna survey out so you can use it. Who's gonna pay for the survey? All of those factors need to come into play. So if they can come back with an actual plan, then maybe we can move forward.
Yeah, because the map just shows a circled area, right?
Yeah.
Can't really,
And it looks like it's a big parcel that's not surveyed out. So,
Right.
we want to make sure that whatever they need, it's contained within what we grant. Because in the future, we may need these other parcels for other types of development.
do we know if the property in the circled area is it developable at all? Or can it be developed?
We have to go check the contour on my side,
We have to what?
the contour of the property.
Yeah, and please, if we can get maybe more specific clarification. I'm reading that it's a coral reef nursery at Tepongan Bay, but yet they're looking to build a new location right below the Limtiaco Cemetery. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't know of any water below the Limtiaco Cemetery going down to the village. So like Commissioner Fisher said, we really need to maybe be a little bit more detailed on what is it they're asking.
Yeah.
Isn't this located where the historical World War II land site is?
I have to verify.
Behind the
if that's
PD
right.
church,
I have
up
to
on the
verify.
hill?
That's what it looks like. On
or about that area, right? Okay, and the PD church up in the bluff?
This is up the hill from from is that Jose Rios now?
This is
Yeah.
like, this is Jose Rios, I'm not sure, but.
Yeah, this one here, right?
So with your permission, we will go back to the PD mayor and get more details about this project. Specifically, how much land are they requesting? Who will survey and who will pay for the survey? And what is it that they need, a right of entry? Or I'm not sure what the mechanism is for this project, so we'll go back and get some details.
And
How
for the
long?
duration, yeah, I mean, are we
Yeah.
giving it up for 50 years?
And I'm gonna verify first if it's our property too. This is the first time I saw this, so I have to do research.
So are we, is something that needs to be tabled?
Is there any action necessary on this?
No, I think it's just, at this point,
Just
for
for
information
information.
purpose.
Yeah.
So we'll just table it? Can we get a
No,
motion to table
I
it?
think we don't table it, we give acting director instruction to go back and get
And
further
then we Put it in
information.
a motion.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion for management to reach out to the PD mayor's office to seek more clarification and information on the matter before the board takes any kind of action.
Motion has been made, can I get a second?
I second.
Motion has been made and second, we go in for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any discussion on the matter? If there's no discussion, the motion passes.
I have a question. Did you guys make a motion for lot 101 and 2-112 or 12?
The GWA?
No, that's Delido, GWA.
GICC?
I didn't hear anything and,
Was
the guest left.
Yeah.
We send him away because he
Okay, so
should be
there's no
talking to
motion. Okay.
GICC.
Just
Yeah.
sorry, just double checking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the last item on our agenda is Bill 305-38, introduced by Joyce Augustine, V. Anthony Atta, and Tina Rose Winya Barnes. An act to add a new subsection 75A 122D, Chapter 75A, Article 1, Title 21, Guam Code annotated relative to financing driven extensions of commercial ground lease terms for new and existing commercial leases, and license for all types of financing and all underwriting requirements, including but not limited to federally assisted or federally insured financing. And I wasn't told when there will be a public hearing or any of that sort, but,
So when Senator San Augustine drafted this bill, was there any input from CLTC? I don't remember them coming to us or talking to us about it, or, because CLTC is directly addressed in their bill.
not that I'm aware of. I've had no conversation with any of the senators, and we're just requested to bring it to the attention of the board. I suppose that we can get familiar with it and then maybe make a position. I don't know of any public hearing, but it's good to maybe at some point have a position, right? And
Yeah.
I would really like to, I mean, I don't know if it's a protocol in this, but, sit down with the senators that are sponsoring this bill, because from my understanding, what it's saying is that COTC commercial leases and licensed projects, it will open it to all type of financing. Is there anything in the law that currently prohibits commercial leases to finance any kind of structure? I don't think so.
No, that's usually imposed by the banks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, so that's my question, so I think it's the bank's, the lender, responsibility to investigate, the viability of the property that's gonna be built on or whatever. So I'm not sure what this law is doing, is my question, it's saying that, it's saying, okay, CLTC property, lenders can come in and secure, okay, yeah, they can do that right now, in my eyes, in my understanding.
It looks like,
So-
it's giving the, CLTC
The approve a term extension.
the authority to approve the term extensions to allow for, the lease term to extend 10 years beyond the loan term, which according to this is required under underwriting.
Oh, okay. So, do we need to have a working session maybe with, one of the writer of the bill so that we can better understand it? Because this actually is a very good opportunity for, our commercial, leases. Because if, this opens up opportunity for us to say, hey, on our property, this is what you can do. But I think that we need to have a better understanding, so it's something that our staff can also, speak to with potential lessors, right? I would like to have a working session on this.
So let's table it and then instruct the administrative director to establish a working session with the authors of this bill.
What would it be called, the working session? It's more of like an informative session? I'm not sure
We
what we call it.
can't make decisions on a working
Yeah,
session.
it's just
Oh,
discussion,
yeah,
right?
okay, so just for discussion
a
purposes, so we can have a
Q&A.
better, we can have a better understanding.
Mhm.
It seems like it's something that's very beneficial to us, and, then this is something that we can say, okay, this will,
The thing I don't like here is this, it goes beyond the mature date of the mortgage.
Yeah, so
The very
it just seems
first
like the lenders just, or at least according to this, require that the lease extend 10 years beyond the, I think it's just so they have their,
but isn't there that
security in
law
the property.
that, we discussed under GICC allows us, if the lease is in good standing, we can add an additional 15 years?
I'm
There's
not
already
sure.
a law,
I'm not sure.
that law, that,
Is that
I
176?
think additional 10 years or something you mentioned.
or was it 10 or
Yeah.
15?
It says 10 to 15, I think.
Okay, yeah, so
It's already there.
there's already a law that says that we can approve, any lease that's in good standing.
Yeah, I think this is specifically geared towards the financing.
Okay.
So,
Make the motion for the working session, and we'll instruct our administrative director to set it up. Annie, would you like to do the honors?
I hereby make a motion for our director to set up and organize a Q&A session, a working session with the bill writers of Bill 305-38.
I have a motion on the table, can I get a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Since there's no opposition, the motion passes. We are open for discussion on that. If there's no discussion, we go on to the next item.
That's the last item on our agenda. Now we go to public comments. Any public available?
Nobody's on Zoom? So I need a motion.
I don't want to talk about it because it's not on the agenda, but as I was reading my board packet, I know that in regards to Mauricio Trans-Pacific, I know that last board meeting, which I was not a part of, they requested to find out what was the status of the RFI, and Commissioner Cameron said, you guys said there was nothing that came back. Please continue to follow up, so can we please put that on the agenda for the next one, RFI? For Trans-Pacific.
I thought I heard somewhere in our
You're
meeting
talking
today
about
that somebody was
transfer?
interested in it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, yeah, maybe we can put that on the agenda, that you can give us an update on that.
Did you say we got a reply for the transfer
Yeah,
property?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So,
I need a motion.
with no public comment, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Next meeting?
I have a motion on the table to
Sir.
adjourn. Can I get a
I
second?
second.
All those in favor say aye.
Do we need to
Aye.
entertain the next meeting?
It was the next item, but it's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll just announce it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next meeting is Thursday, June 18, 2026, 1 PM here in the CLTC conference room.
This meeting is adjourned at 4:35.